the dungeon master and world builder of this nasty, cruel world, and for for our 5th edition adjacent D&D campaign. It gets worse. That one really great. This is what happens when I improv a script.
Good job.
Tonight is everybody except for Beth. We have Grace playing Vera, the halfling retired crime boss. We have Jenny playing, I need to change this, Daphne, the orc warlock, Vreem and legionary. Nick playing Guth, the Goliath barbarian druid. And Mary playing the newly reincorporated, and I mean that literally, Dragonborn, well, not anymore Dragonborn, Bard. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are so happy it's Friday. Sounds like,
Amen.
in the pre-show, it sounds like we all had a rough week, so this might get a little bit strange. Anyway, we're going to jump right back into when we last left our heroes. When we last left our heroes, they were in the Empire of Vreem, having just successfully resurrected, or I guess reincarnated, their friend Almanya, who is now a bird person of some variety. You guys, you did a lot of things. When we left off, I think you guys were all in Weston Tor after having returned from the reincarnation. I'm sorry, Eston Tor. Thank you, Grace. I saw the look on your face, and I was like, wait, no, that was wrong. Eston Tor. Guth had gone to, had walked back to the Imperial City along with Loravis and her essentially bodyguard to have some conversations, while the rest of you spent the night in Estentor so that Almanya could get her first full day of rest. On the next day, you guys traveled to the Imperial City, which took most of the day, and you just kind of spent your evening sitting in a small insula in the Imperial City, playing music and eating what here seems to be fairly standard fare, at least for this season, but which for several of you was incredibly delicious and luxurious. On the next day, you plotted your course and decided, we're going to head over and see if we can get some information from some Jaegers, which is the Vreeman word for adventurers. And I think when we left off, you guys were all standing outside the Myth of Honor, the Jaeger Guild Hall. But we're going to rewind just a little bit to the walk back to the Imperial City of Guth, Loravis, and Gog. So, Guth, you're walking with Loravis and Gog.
I guess, I watched last episode, so I saw most of what everyone else is seeing. A lot of not necessarily fields, right? It's not a lot of like farmland. Correct. Because off of the, like, you know that there's something coming, but it's just so expansive.
Yeah, right. So to your right, the mountains are rising way up high. You can see woods, trees. About 100 yards off the trail, there's a forest that kind of climbs up the mountains. And then, yes, to your left, there's just grassland that extends far out, and you can see some mountains in the distance. But yeah, you're not seeing cultivated land.
Okay, I'll just kind of walk, and as I'm like staring at the mountains and such, I'll just look to Loravis and just, none of this is really the wild, though. It's inside.
Oh, this? Oh, no, this isn't the wild at all. This is, frankly, a little unsettling. It feels weird to be in the open, not afraid of whatever's around the corner. But yeah, no, this is all entirely enclosed within the walls of the Empire, and they keep their land safe.
It's just weird to not be running, you know, like just kind of leisurely walking down the dirt path with the mountains and everything. You're right, it is unsettling. Why did you settle here? Why are you here?
I would love to settle here. Unfortunately, there's a lot that goes into it. I am happy not to be a citizen. I will admit that I am rather sick of the wilderness. It's gotten better since they stopped insisting that I also be able to run, little legs and everything. But no, I don't live here. I'm here to visit my friend. I'm here to bring you saw her, the little dragonborn girl. Her parents do live here, and as part of the agreement between her family, the Echo, and the Empire, she is allowed several days in the Empire to visit her family about this time every year. But we'll be heading back this evening.
So you came just for her? You left your Echo to give this one girl?
Have you been to the bathhouses? I'm also here for that.
I think that's specifically what I'm not here for, and what I think you shouldn't be here for either.
Guth, I hear you. But again, have you ever been to them?
Have the Sky Brothers been to them? Maybe that's where they fucking went. Maybe that's why we don't know where they are. They're all just chilling in the bathtub, right?
No, Guth, we don't know where they are because the Echoes have zero infrastructure and don't usually talk to each other. So when a tribe goes missing, we don't know when they went missing. It could have been 6 months ago. It could have been 3 months ago. We don't know.
So what are you doing about it besides eating fine cheeses and different types of ale?
What would you have me do?
At first, when I came here, I saw you to be a charlatan, to be a false shaman, to play up to the ethers of these wall huggers. But I saw what happened back there, and I heard your song, our song. If anyone can do anything, it would be you. And me, my brothers. I came here with 5 shamans. Well, kind of. And they're not with us anymore. Because we're doing what we can, and if you really are a shepherd, I can't understand why you would be here.
You're in training, and I don't know what your elders sent you out to do. I am granted this leave because of a deal made. We're not going to get into it.
You don't need to explain yourself.
I am allowed a small reprieve, but otherwise I am not as untethered as you are. I'm the shepherd. Even this time away from the Echo is incredibly dangerous. I've been doing what I can, Guth, but wherever they are, they're nowhere near my swamp.
Do you have any idea? The spirits are closer. I would be a fool to say otherwise. I guess that's the reason that I would be upset right now.
Sorry, you cut out for the first part. What did you say about the spirits?
Do you know where they are? Oh, gotcha. You're closer to the spirits than I am. It would be a fool.
No.
A fool. I saw what happened back there.
And did you see any souls, any spirits?
I saw flashes. I guess I would be honest. My pride got in the way, and I was more focused on what you were doing.
My connection, Guth, is different than yours. Mine is with the land. I bear the spirits of the ancestors, but they are limited to what they knew in life and to what they learned through me. The land doesn't travel much, and the Sky Brothers are from your part of the land, from the borderlands.
Well, I guess what I ask of you is help me, help us somehow, whatever you can do. Please. I'm also the last one out, and as I speak of my pride again, I know that I have not earned the title of shepherd, hardly a shaman. So I need your help, whatever you can do, guidance or something. If you can talk to the spirits, I can't. Who I thought that they were, this reincarnation was beyond them and their ideology and the game and the song that they sing, and then I was presented with a bird. And that's always hard. When people just drop birds all over your lifehood. I don't know how they say it in the common. But
I mean, I suppose that works.
So, what can you do? Where should we go? What have you heard?
Guth, you're very strange. I don't know how it usually goes, but I don't think I have ever met an orc who aspires to be the shepherd. I fell into it by accident and by necessity.
I got punched in the face by a brother, so
She looks at Gog like, what is that? Gog just shrugs, keeps walking. I don't know what that means, but Goose, I'm doing what I can, but it sounds like your elders sent you out to do more than that. And the only guidance I have to give is look everywhere. I don't mean to insult, I guess, our people. They're mine now too, as weird as that is. I don't mean to insult our people, but our ways are not well geared towards a search like this. Every concern is of maximum priority, because if anything goes wrong, right, the whole echo suddenly is threatened. All I know is that the Sky Brothers are gone, and they were not slaughtered, they were not destroyed and killed in their place, they're just gone.
What do you know of the Sky Brothers? I know little from stories, from the kids that I used to beat up. The Sky Brothers What do you know? I don't even know what I'm looking for.
I'm going to be honest. Until they disappeared, I had never heard of them. I've tried to absorb as many of the stories as I can in a short time. She kind of, her head rocks back a little bit. She goes, "Oh, hold on. Okay. God, that's weird."
Was it the brain? Put your thumb on the roof of your mouth. That's the
no, Goose. It wasn't a brain freeze.
I think the best part about it is that I'm talking to to God's back while Laura Vies is hanging and just doing this the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Let me find this real quick.
If you got something to send me later,
The only story that I know that might be relevant at all is the where is he? Is Shaman Remgreist was of the Sky Brothers. And I don't know if you've heard the term, but Gorgaram. Shaman Remgreist. Did I get that right? She asks that question out loud and like rolls her eyes up a little bit and seems to be listening to something. Shaman Remgreist ate Gorgaram. That is all my echo knows.
Does any of that mean anything to me?
Give me a history check.
Oh, you betcha. Reckless history. I get advantage.
Reckless history.
A+.
I was gonna say this is. Oh no, I guess it's not your echo. Yeah. With a 3, no idea.
So I guess when she says Gorgaram, I say, "Excuse you." And
No, that's Guth. That's the name of
what's the name?
whatever Remgreist ate.
What's the name?
Remgreist is the shaman. Gorgaram is this. No, it was some kind of dark being. That's all I know.
Thank you. We could move a lot faster if you want to. I know that both of us can turn into things. We could really get out of here much faster. If you want to just hoof it.
I mean, we could, but I rather enjoy traveling with Gog, and she cannot.
She could ride you. That'd be funny.
Actually, oh no, she's not Moon, so she's still limited to CR1. That's all right, Goof. If that's all, you can go on
she
ahead
has polymorph.
Oh, she does have polymorph, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Why?
She's been an elephant, man.
What is it?
I said she's been an elephant, remember?
Also, her direwolf is just 1. It's just CR1.
I'm not sure Gog can ride a direwolf, but she does have polymorph. So sure, she'll turn Gog into an elephant. Why not? So sure, you guys go riding into Belvrima, a gnome riding on top of an elephant and
I'm a rhinoceros, just to follow the theme. Oh wait, probably Triceratops because I've never seen a rhinoceros. I don't know. I've seen a Triceratops.
I was thinking about it. You would have seen a rhinoceros, but you also would have seen a Triceratops. So that also works.
I'll be a Triceratops because it's got more horns. Oh,
Right.
I probably
You guys,
rhinoceros. Sorry.
you guys ride up to the imperial city of Vreem, an elephant, a Triceratops, and a gnome.
I think a Triceratops is too high CR, but yes, we can leave. I'm something freaky, whatever it is.
Sure, we'll go with it. We'll go with it for now. It's purely flavor at the moment. All right. Fast forwarding now, you guys are standing outside the Myth of Honor Guild Hall. It's, I think, 2 days later, so that wrapped up that day. Then you guys, the rest of you traveled the next day. So yeah, two days later, you're all standing outside the Myth of Honor Guild Hall, where 5 people strapping on armor, belts, weapons, shrugging, like trying to get chainmail on quickly as they are hurrying out of the guild hall. We lost Mary. Apparently there's a significant thunderstorm going on over her current dwelling, so she might be in and out.
There she is. There she is. And also, just to clarify, remember, we are here for the purpose, or at least that was the plan, of finding somebody with sending, or finding someone who can get us a message to Anashur.
Okay.
Out of character, you know who has sending. I'm going to shut up now.
Yes.
It's Callista.
I know. I don't know that, though.
You can eat my shorts, Jenny.
We're already in debt to Callista for quite a bit.
She owes me an apology, I'll tell you that.
So as you guys are standing here arguing, this group of people who are clearly hurrying on their way is running past you.
As they run past us, as they open the door, can I just peek behind them into the guild hall? What does it look like?
So you guys are kind of in the street looking at the doors. As they kind of get thrown open, people rush out. You see a very large room. You get a glimpse of a desk with somebody behind it and a bunch of scrolls, and then what looks like tables and chairs on the other side, and what looks like a wall made of glass. You're not sure. And then directly ahead, straight through the doors towards the end of the room, there are 2 spiral staircases that kind of divide and go into opposite directions out of sight. And then the doors slowly slam shut, and these guys are fast walking towards you.
I'm sorry. Can I flag them down as they pass, or just raise my tiny hand?
This fairly fat half-elf, great axe, kind of this whole group behind her goes, where's she from? Yeah.
I take it that you're on your way to the Comptiche, am I correct?
Yeah, we've got a fight soon.
Right. Is literally every member of this guild currently engaged in the Comptiche, or are there people still in the guild hall?
It's the Comptiche. Where else would they be? I mean, you can talk to Galawian, but all the Jaegers are at the Colosseum.
Is the name you just mentioned, is that the receptionist?
Don't call him that, but sure.
All right, receptionist. Thank you. And I'll just
really
walk right past.
All right. They hurry on past.
Is the big door to the guild hall locked, or can I reach up and open it?
Yeah, you go up to the door and you just push it open. Is everybody else following?
Yeah, I actually will go.
You pull it open.
I will go in front of Vera and open the door for her.
Oh, thank you, Levi.
Yeah.
I will trot up to that front desk.
Already?
Remember, you don't want to call him the receptionist, yeah?
Well, I haven't. I believe the name started with a G. Sounded Elven. Is the gentleman Elven?
If you guys want to just head straight up to the desk, yeah, you see a fairly tall half elf, long black hair, bright green eyes. The hair is kind of just bound back into just a simple ponytail. And as you guys approach, hello. I'm sorry, I don't recognize you. You are not members of the hall.
No, we're not. Hello, sir. We're in fact. I'm sorry to see that we've arrived right during the competition, which means that perhaps are fewer Jaegers actually in the hall than on ordinary days. But we were looking for some information. Perhaps you might be able to help us.
Are you Jaegers?
Are we Jaegers?
They are guests of the Fifth Legion.
Yes, of the Fifth Legion. Welcome, Legionnaire. Glory to the builders.
Glory to the builders, yeah.
May I see your papers?
I hand him my passport.
Me too.
Guth, are you giving him your passport?
I give him one of my 5 things.
I
Do you want to roll it to see which one of those it is, or?
It's the loincloth.
I get my loincloth mixed up, and I kind of tug at it, and I go like, you thought for a second, I'll give you.
All right. He looks through your papers. Oh, I see you are refugees, but with some talent and a plainsman. What brings you here, plainsman?
I am not plain, I'm very unique.
Goose, he means where you are from. Yeah?
Yes,
Like, you are from the Great Plateau, yeah? They
I'm
call
not
that the
from-
plain.
I'm not from the Great Plateau. I don't come from there. We're not really allowed to go there.
Isn't that what he said in his entrance interview?
No, I just said north.
No.
And then, like
he
that area.
basically, yeah, he described it until finally
Gotcha.
Oxschreiber Faustus was like, okay, got you're from the Gatefield. Good, that wasn't so hard. I don't know
I
if he was,
broke-
yeah, he was.
What that meant.
Well, actually,
It seems that you caused some trouble at the gate. Did you, by any chance, wish to become a Jaeger? You seem to have the spirit for it.
I mean, maybe I don't. I kind of look at the group like, what are we doing here?
well, I know that I'm not
I'm-
not a fighter. I'm not a Jaeger. I don't know what the gentleman is referring to.
Jaeger is what you would call like a hunter, yeah, like an adventurer.
Oh goodness! Well, I'm certainly not one of those either. And frankly, sir, I know this perhaps is the terminology here, but refugee literally means a someone who has run, someone who has fled. But I must say that
In point of fact, it means somebody who has taken refuge, which most people who come to the empire have come here to do. And
I'm
as
afraid
your city is starving to death, it's a logical assumption.
but it is an assumption of motivation, which might not necessarily be true. I, for my part, left my city quite voluntarily and fully intend to return. So no refuge is sought here, merely conversation.
I guess I'm a
Under,
refugee.
under her breath, Daphne goes, I knew they wouldn't like that term, and that's why I said they were guests.
Very politic of you.
I'm a refugee. I am absolutely taking refuge in this city because I was violently thrown out of my own city and I need to sleep. So this seems good. Yeah, I'm fine with refugee.
Refugee.
It will pass the bird.
I must say, your papers, when you handed them, surprised me. I apologize, but I assumed that you are some kind of pet. So I do apologize for that.
Never say that
the
again when
notes-
I've just taken a drink.
the notes on your papers tell an interesting story.
Yeah, definitely not a pet. Definitely very sentient. Yeah.
Someone needs to hear this story right now, yeah?
Correct,
I-
correct. I'm
I could-
sorry.
I could sit and explain my entire life story up until this point.
Yeah.
I was
but
born at
that's
a
not
naturally young
asking.
age.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry. I sidetracked us. It's I really wanted to clarify our position. Again, I speak only for myself. I don't consider myself a refugee, but anyone can speak for themselves. I also don't consider myself a Jaeger, but anyone may speak for themselves. But I at least have come here seeking someone with a power, I suppose, that we might be able to avail ourselves of.
Indeed. Before we go further, if you are not refugee or you have not fled, what would you like me to address you as? I do not wish to be rude.
I suppose the best definition for me, at least in particular at this point, would simply be a traveler, a visitor.
I was more asking for your name, what you would like to be called.
Mrs.
Your
Mayweather.
past- Okay, so it's the name on the papers. Okay, Mrs. Mayweather. Welcome to
Yes.
the Nest of Honor Hall.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So the room that you're in, now that you can see it better, you kind of walked in, and this whole building again is stone through, but it kind of opens up into this large room with a couple dozen tables, and on the far side, what looks like just a lavish and beautifully stocked bar.
Nice.
The walls, so the walls, this I don't think that you would have ever seen. The walls alternate stone and glass. A worrisome proportion of this wall is glass, particularly considering that the rest of the construction appears to be just stone. But where there is stone, you can see trophies, bestial, aberrant, monstrous heads, claws, just on plaques, just kind of everywhere that there is stone, except for kind of a large area towards the floor that has a bunch of small plaques with something printed on them. But yeah, you're standing kind of in the middle of, off to the side of what looks like kind of a cross between a really lavish hotel lobby / bar dining area.
All right.
Good. So,
Sorry, Josh. Your internet's a little wobbly, so you're cutting in and out a bit.
Well, that's just fantastic.
All right, it's the gremlins. The
No,
gremlins come
guys,
for us.
remember, it's our fault, not Josh's
Yes.
fault.
Oh, sorry.
Always.
Oh, true.
wait.
Yeah, of course. Totally forgot. Yeah.
This is part of being in the player in the one of the players is you have to assume the blame for anything.
Of course.
I don't have anything else running that I can turn off on here. Everything else is on my other computer.
Huh.
Lovely.
I can hear you now. You're just a little pixelated.
Anyway, yeah. If it ever becomes unintelligible, just let me know and I will repeat and hopefully it comes across better.
Will do.
What was I saying? Right. So
The room.
This abilities that you are seeking, yes. Could you
Yes.
practice?
Well, what I'm seeking is an ability to communicate across wide distances for however brief a time.
Indeed. I myself do not possess this ability, but I'm sure if you spoke to some of the other Jaegers, that several of them might perhaps be willing to use the ability for you. There would almost certainly be a price or a favor asked, but other than
Of
that,
course.
feel
There's
free to
no such
ask.
thing as something for nothing, correct?
Wait, so this whole time we were just looking to communicate over long distances?
Yes.
Oh, I can do that right now. And Guth will just
Oh
run to
no.
the out of the chamber, and I'll just, hey, Howard, do you hear me?
If you could shout to Onisher, I would be very grateful, Guth dear.
Your friend is very amusing.
He is. I'm actually quite fond of him.
He's the best. We love him.
Ew.
I go up to Guth and I nudge him on the shoulder and say, if we yell loud enough, maybe they'll hear us not. Is you ready? Ready?
Okay, on shoot, what do we?
I don't know. What do you want to yell? What do you want to yell to the people in Onisher? We got to
No.
yell.
Huh?
We got to yell as loud as we can so the people in Onisher can hear us. I don't know if they will, but it's the best plan I've got.
No,
Okay,
still not.
Our listeners.
All right.
I'm going to go 1, 2.
You know, yell really loud.
Are you just gonna scream?
Yes.
Okay.
He
I
waits,
was.
he waits until it looks like you're not screaming anymore.
There are so many other
Excellent.
people in the house, Mary. I can't. I
I
don't.
know. Okay, we'll pick up our mouse. 1, 2, 3.
That is a truly hideous noise.
I just
No.
like lean over the desk to him really close and just say, I really am quite fond of both of them, believe it or not.
So actually, I will say there are actually 2 sections to this desk. One of them you can like reach up and grab with your hands. There is actually a lower section that is comfortable for your height. That he's kind of like walked over to you. So yeah, you lean way over the desk. And I'm sorry, what do you say?
Oh, I said, I really am quite fond of both of them, believe it or not.
I mean, who wouldn't be? Now, none of the Jaegers, I think, are here.
Correct, I noticed.
Most are in the Colosseum, either training or participating in some of the lesser fights. If you would like to go and speak to them there, you're welcome to. You could also, they usually come back here in the evening, and it is, well, that might not be a good time to talk to them. It gets quite rowdy, Jaegers, you know. It's all of that close contact, this, you know, imminent death. The parties are correspondingly, shall we say, life-affirming.
Oh, that's lovely. Perhaps are you quite familiar with many of the older Jaegers or the more experienced Jaegers who have been around for longer?
Oh yes, you can see if you look at the wall over there, and he points to the wall that Almanya and Guth now have their backs to. Many of the most senior parties are there. Were you looking for specific ones? I mean, the Cold Roses are in the Empire, along with the Grey Swords and the Wolf Mantles.
Well, what I was thinking more is just to make use of your experience of these people, and perhaps you could direct us to a more specific party to ask with our problem.
Oh, then your large friend over there would probably get along very well with the X.
The X?
Or yes.
Mhm.
None of them could write, but that's the marks they made on the paper.
Oh, I
Well,
like it.
If they can't write, then they might not be able to do the magic that Mrs. Mayweather is wanting.
Yes,
That's
I'm
a
looking
good point.
for casters, high-level casters.
Oh, then you would probably be looking for the scale bound.
Scale-bound, thank you.
Yes. But I also believe, do I have this right? I believe that the Scarlet Flame might also have the magics that you speak of. Let me double check that.
I like this guy. Font of information.
I do in fact have 16 fully like character sheeted out adventure parties.
We know you do.
Of varying levels. Which one is it? No. Oh, I'm sorry. You are looking for the Circle of Thorns.
Circle of Thorns. Not the Scarlet Flame, but the Circle of Thorns?
The Scarlet Flame might have what you seek, but the Circle of Thorns almost certainly will have it.
That is good. Thank you. You're being most wonderfully helpful. I'm so sorry. I didn't ask your name, or I didn't catch it from those we passed.
I am Proctor of the Hall, Galawian.
Galawian. Don't say the word proctor to me today, Josh.
You know, if I had not already written it down and like come up with the system of titles, I would have changed that just for you because I know you did
Thank
4
you.
hours of proctoring today.
Could you spell his name for me?
Galay.
Galay. Yeah.
Wien. Do druids not have sending?
No, it's not a druid spell. It's a cleric spell or a wizard spell.
Or a
Only
bard.
cleric- It's only cleric or wizard? Okay,
Or
cool.
bard.
Maybe bard, if you're the
It's
right
bard.
school.
In that
It's
case, hold on. I
No,
don't think
it's
so.
a bard spell, so I have.
In that case, scratch off Circle of Thorns. You definitely want the Scarlet Flame.
Oh, but I
Scarlet
want to meet
Flame.
them.
Or
No,
scale
we'll
down.
talk to them. We'll talk to them. They sound awesome.
That's true. I actually could get that spell.
Oh, that
We were
is
going to go hit something today.
I
We
could
said
get
we
something,
were doing there was the whole thing happening.
Don't worry, Guth. We will
Well-
go. And it sounds like these are the sorts of people you make friends with by hitting.
Fun.
Yeah, but
Talk to them.
I'm sorry, were you planning on participating in Samaktan?
well, they can't quite yet. They haven't gotten out of the Marsword yet.
Yes, and we're not registered with your guild, as I understand is a necessity.
That is easily rectified. It appears that you spent little over 2,000 gold to enter the Empire.
Correct.
I have the ability right now, if you wish to simply sacrifice that amount, you will immediately be released from the Marsward, and if you have friends elsewhere in the city, you would be welcome to stay there. Otherwise, you can seek shelter in one of the taverns that caters to Jaegers. Be aware that the next time you enter the Empire, you will need to put up a similar amount to be held as collateral in case you are necromancers or you do something stupid. But I assure you that the price is worth it, especially if your friend here wishes to become a Jaeger or anybody else wishes to become a Jaeger. You do not wish to be called refugees. I know this. But I don't mean to be, again, I simply mean to be clear and honest. For your first couple of adventures, it would be best if you hired on this a more experienced party, if Jaeger is what you wish to be. And we can set all of this up right now, if you wish.
Well, as
No,
I've stated,
I didn't pay anything to get in here, so sure, take it. I didn't. Yeah, fine.
just to clarify, we are currently bound to the Marsward, that's correct. And we are not free to enter certain parts of the city, therefore. This is me trying to remember the rules.
Oh, you are of course allowed to go anywhere in the streets within the city.
I can take you anywhere you wish to go.
Yes, that's what I thought. But not to compete in the Maktan and not to enter this guild or anything of that matter.
Unfortunately, while you are still being, it is an unfortunate word, but quarantined, then you cannot participate.
First proctor and now quarantine. You're really gonna do this to me today, Josh?
How did he wall? He didn't even break the fourth wall. He went on the other side of the wall and then yelled out through the fourth wall at himself.
I love the looks that just like spread across your faces almost any time a Vreeman opens their mouth.
We just hate them so much. That's why it's great.
No, I don't. I love them.
Oh yes, you just keep telling yourself that, Jenny.
Telling me you hate them, and then you keep backing up your characters with Freeman citizens.
Yep.
I can do this.
Yep.
So, an all Freeman citizen campaign would be.
Oh man, Josh, it would suck so bad.
The thing is we would just want a TPK and we would just not be able to die.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, until you are no longer being
on probation. How about that?
Until they are no longer guests, yeah. We can use the polite term, yeah.
No, guests. Again, I wish only to be clear and straightforward. Guests are generally trusted, and as you have not yet proven yourselves, efforts are made to prevent any ethical or ideological or in fact quite literal infection from spreading among the citizenry.
Yeah. But if you knew my family, you would understand.
Anyway, plainsmen, I'm so sorry, I believe they have been addressing you as Goose. You would like to sacrifice the 875 gold pieces that were paid for you to enter the Empire.
And here's what's gonna happen is Vera will just reach over and pat his elbow and say, "You go ahead and spend it, Levy."
Grandma's buying you candy. Go for it.
Exactly.
Other side, like, if I just become a Jaeger by myself, what does that even mean? Like, you all have to join with me, like, right?
No, if none of these wish to join, we can of course casualties among Jaeger parties are quite frequent. One of the many hazards of the lifestyle, but the rewards are correspondingly huge, especially if you have any real skill. So many Jaeger parties let us know when they are looking for members. In fact, where'd it go? The Fortune's Kiss, you probably passed them as they just rushed out the door, were delayed because they're short a man and or lady, they're short a member, and wish to see if there were any last minute applicants, I suppose we shall say. There is at least one other. The Green Spines are looking for another member as well, should you like to join them. So you could sign up and we could see if you fit in with any of the existing Jaeger parties.
Well, I actually have some very important business to take care of. We all need to go find the red fire people or whatever, and you can keep sitting here and eating paper, or whatever you do here. You clearly, talking to you felt like eating paper. I don't want, if that's rude or not.
Goose, don't be rude. The man has been very helpful.
He's so. Do you leave the desk very often? Can you stand up? Can you do that?
I'm sorry that I cannot relate. I do not know what it is like to eat paper, but if you do, then I am sure
Insight
that your
check.
evaluation is accurate. What did you
Totally
say?
an inside check. He said
Insight.
Roll. What do you want to know? Roll an insight check.
Has he eaten
He
paper?
doesn't know what it's like to eat paper. Sure.
He lives in the Bremen Empire. Why would he ever have to eat paper?
You never know.
That's true. You guys did just leave a city where parchment was becoming scarce because people were boiling and eating it.
Yeah.
With a 17, I mean, he's trying his best to be straightforward and polite right now. He's not lying to you. But Guth, you are also aware with the 17 that he is not trying to talk down to you and be condescending as was Faustus Vale, who was definitely trying.
I'm gonna remember that name. That
You keep saying that, but every time you've tried to say it, it's been wrong.
well, I say it on wrong purpose, but
May I lean over the little tiny hobbit desk again?
Sure.
I'll lean over and I'll say to him, this all sounds very lovely, to be a Jaeger, but what are the, so to speak, privileges other than the privilege of being paid to serve the Empire, I suppose? What are the privileges of movement, of etc.?
I think you may have misunderstood. Jaegers are not required to serve the Empire.
But they have the privilege of doing so.
Oh, of course. All have the privilege of serving the Empire if they wish to prove themselves.
Insight check.
I was about to say, hey Jenny, do you want to insight check me?
Wait, Daphne, who are you insight checking?
Vera, to see
Oh, okay.
about
I was like,
the
why are you...
privilege of the
I
Empire.
know, she was giving me this sketchy look.
Vera, are you trying to hide the air quotes around privilege?
No, I was saying that to Galawian with the utmost sincerity, but of course I'm lying.
Daphne, insight check. Nope. Totally genuine.
Mm-hmm.
The
No,
privileges are
This one
in
is
many.
hitting the message. Yes,
See, you've got one.
I've got
You
her.
think you've got one. Again, yes, while Jaegers and the Empire have a special relationship, no Jaeger is required to serve. You are welcome
of
to
course.
go about your business and pursue whatever contracts you wish.
Yes, but
but-
what? Yes, additional freedoms, etc., would come from being a Jaeger. Other than, so far, I'm not really seeing the benefits of joining the guild any more than I currently have, being in the Marswood, serving the Legion.
Again, I suspect there may be some confusion here. Through no fault of your own, I assume. You do not have to become a Jaeger to leave the Marswood.
No, but it's a
Leaving the
route.
Marswood. Yes, leaving the Marswood simply would cost you the entry fee gold. At which point you would have access to many of the things that the Empire has to offer. Becoming a Jaeger is adopting a lifestyle, a very intense and dangerous, but very rewarding one. And the empire simply provides the best services should you wish to take up that life. So there are two things that we are talking about.
Thank you. That's very helpful because at this point, again, I'm not a fighter. I would be, even if we were to become Jaegers, I would be something like, I don't know, the manager or
Give
the
a quick,
Ball
give
boy.
a quick
like
deception check.
the band manager. Yeah,
Yeah.
who doesn't play an instrument.
Actually, you don't need to give him give me a deception check, because he kind of looks down at your papers again. Yeah, while it may be strictly true, you are not a, stand in the front wielding a sword. You are quite skilled in the arts of death. So
Wait a
it
minute.
would not.
Did I tell them that?
Yeah, one of the entry questions was, please describe essentially your abilities and capabilities.
So that it wasn't
They-
only magical capabilities.
Right, so
Okay,
it's not.
so what would
they
I have
don't-
told
they
them?
don't know- They don't necessarily know. I can use, the force of spirit and will to speed up my punches, but they do know that you are adept at sneaking and martial arts.
Okay, so yeah, my question is, what did I tell them? I suppose I would have told them I can shoot a crossbow, and I
Oh.
have some training in martial arts.
Yeah, they've seen your equipment. They know what all of your equipment does, and you've basically described your abilities.
Hmm. Well, yes, I can handle myself, but that's purely in self-defense, Lovey.
I mean,
Which is what I did say to them at the
That
entry.
is
Yes.
what you said, and you deceived yourself into thinking it was true.
Because it is true. It's totally true.
I mean, sure, understandable, but you have the skills. But I do not wish to pressure you into anything that you are not excited about. So you asked about the privileges.
Yes.
Once you are out of Simana's ward, you can of course participate in the Makatan and the Gathering. You will be able to access the Imperial Academy. You will be able to use and purchase items from Oswald craftsmen. You will have access to the Gedachthorn, and this one tends to be exciting for outsiders. I'm not quite sure why, but access to the spring markets where they still have fresh vegetables and fruit. And of course, once you're outside the Mars ward, you can join the Miss of Honor as a Jaeger.
I see. Well, that's absolutely charming. And remind me, you mentioned that right here at this desk, you have the power to accept that payment to leave the Mars ward, correct?
Indeed. Did you also want to hear the benefits of membership in the Miss of Honor, or?
Oh, yes,
wish to,
please.
Indeed.
Please, do tell.
If you join the Miss of Honor, the price that you pay for entering the Empire, not the price, apologies, the collateral that you put up when you enter the Empire is massively reduced to a fraction of what it would be. You are allowed access to premium contracts with high rewards in both magical artifacts and gold. If you wish to hire mercenaries to transport you to whatever strange forest or ruin or dungeon that you wish to delve, the price is significantly reduced. And during the gathering, the Miss of Honor will foot the bill entirely. In addition, for your in pursuit of your contracts, you can rent from the Miss of Honor powerful magical artifacts. I will note, sometimes this catches people by surprise, that should you do so, a minder will be assigned to you who will accompany you on your adventures. You owe them nothing except the same protection you would offer to your party members, and they would owe you nothing but the same, but they would be the ones to make sure that when the contract is over, that those items be returned to the empire. In addition, and this is very exciting, especially in times such as these, you
Who
would be
goes?
allowed.
Oh yeah, I bet.
No,
I assume for
thank-
most of the conversation, Guth had put his back against the wall and slowly slid down it, and now he has just been hitting his head on the wall. Like, oh my God, can we just do it or what? We were going to hit people today.
Almanya, you're over on the wall next to him, and you can see he's currently hitting his head against like a line of a row of plaques that list the fallen Jaeger parties during the retaking of Handelor. So he's hitting his head just against plaques that list fallen Jaeger parties. And Galarian says, "No, Plainsman, I'm sorry, Goose. I think you might be interested in this one. As a Jaeger, you would be invited to participate in any Jagdreise." He looks at the expressions of the lack of comprehension on your faces. You have never heard of the Jagdreise?
We haven't gotten to that yet. We were covering the basics of, civics within the empire.
Of course, that obviously takes priority, but now you're in the midst of honor. Imagine, if you will, standing on a field with 1,000 other Jaegers, and standing across from you are the forces of hell itself, and the rewards beyond them, truly beyond imagining. The Jagdreise is the epic call to kill hideous monsters and take their hordes, to clear out dungeons that have been untouched and have accumulated great wealth for perhaps decades, dungeons and ruins which you would be unable to access otherwise. It is truly a sight to behold.
And it is very
In
dangerous.
the boy.
I'm sorry, you're both talking at once. Daphne, go ahead.
I'll just look very pointedly at him because he knows adventurers as well as I do, and say, "Yeah, but she's very dangerous, yes? And not something to be undertaken lightly."
I mean, of course it's dangerous, but nobody becomes a Jaeger if they're afraid of danger. Guth, what did you say?
Well, Nick said, "It's Leroy and the boys."
Yeah, I miss
We did a
Leroy and
one-shot.
the boys.
We did a Jagdreiser one shot.
It was super fun.
And then apologies, Goose, this would probably bore you, but just only two more things. You would be able to purchase premium maps that have been made by other adventurers to certain dungeons. And you would have a ready market for any goods that you would find in your adventures. And we would offer you top prices for accurate maps of places that have not yet been explored.
I'll just lean to Almanya and say, the way that he talks about the maps, there's no fucking way he hasn't eaten paper. Look at me.
What have Guth and Almanya been doing against the back?
Oh my gosh.
I assume there's like
Amazing.
a small, maybe there's like a crack or something in the wall, and we both have like two little rocks, and we're trying to see who can throw it and get closest to the crack.
Yes.
Guth, you will be very disappointed to find that this stonework is impeccable.
So we find some glass, and we try to
There
break
is-
the glass.
I was going to say, there is a fully stocked bar behind which two barkeeps are just kind of washing, kind of wiping down the counter and wiping out glasses and bowls and things like that.
Wait, you said there were a bunch of trophies, like trophy heads?
Yes, there are
Oh,
also
no.
trophies of like manticore heads, owl bear claws, things like that. Just
Oh, no.
No, we're just throwing things into their mouths.
Okay.
That's
Yeah, you are.
I'm okay with this. This is good.
You guys, each of you give me an opposed dexterity check, just straight dexterity.
I really am traveling with grandkids. This is fabulous.
22.
Ooh, that's my second 2 today. Goodness.
Oh.
Almanya's kicking your ass, Goof.
God,
Can
that's
I
like
try and get the bartenders to make like some traditional Onashirian drinks that they would have served at the Snowdrop back when I was playing music there? Just like with wild, like I'm trying to like explain like the different types of liquor, and they have like wildly different liquors, and so like we're like I'm trying to be like, okay, but this one kind of tastes like juniper, no, not like that, not like that, no, it kind of tastes like this, and we're just like kind of going back and forth and trying to explain while we're like throwing things into the trophy.
like Guth is like throwing darts, like and like really focused and doesn't do it, not even close. And then Almanya's like, "Oh, it's my turn," and then just throws it and just makes it right in.
You got it. The one barkeep, it's like, just some of those
You're cutting out, Josh.
ingredients, but I'm cutting out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't hear that whole first part.
Yeah, bad patch there.
I'm familiar with some of those ingredients, but can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I think it's because I was trying to do a deeper Vreem accent. My camera microphone is not picking it up well. So we'll continue with the upper register of Vreem accent. Yes, I'm familiar with some of those ingredients, but that's not the name we call it by. Also, I'm so sorry. This conversation is fascinating. You know more about the finer points of alcohols than most, but you are not members here, and I cannot serve you any drinks.
God, I can't get my snail shells made into armor. I can't get a drink. God, this is ridiculous. What if I played you a song? Would you pour me a drink if I played you a song?
I think I would enjoy the song very much, but I'm sorry, I have a job and a responsibility, and I cannot go give benefits to non-members.
I miss the
But
snowdrop.
what if you
like,
made?
Go ahead.
What if you made the drink? You just made the drink as a way to practice your skills. Like you're just practicing, and then we can volunteer to help clean up the bar afterwards. And we'll just clean up. You're practicing, and we're cleaning up. You're getting free practice, plus we're cleaning up and helping around.
Guth, you're a goddamn genius.
So
Do this to something from the kitchen all the time.
as much as I would like to stand here and discuss the finer points of ethics and intention versus direct action, unfortunately that will not work. However,
I give Guth a little nudge, like it was a good try. You tried really hard.
Everyone here is just such a big authority stick up their butt.
I know. No.
I mean, if I may, Jaegers try all kinds of tricks all the time. They're kind of a screwy lot, so I have had lots of practice. Don't beat yourself up.
That's fair. Oh, it just sucks. I used to perform at a bar and I get free drinks all the time. And now I have no bar to perform at, and so I don't get any free drinks. And it's very sad. Oh, well, okay.
If you would like free drinks, then all you need to do is become a member of the Miss of Honor.
Yeah, but that costs a lot of money, and also I'm kind of already indebted to someone, so makes it a little hard.
Understandable. But you should know.
Understandable. That
You
is like
should
the
know.
goddamn retail voice I have ever heard in my life. Oh, understandable. That's totally fine. We totally understand. We're here for you.
It's like that total like telemarketer thing of
The Girl Scout voice.
oh no, I know you're having a hard time right now, but if you just listen for the next 90 seconds to my
Totally
pitch and buy
fine.
my product, you'll feel so much better.
Literally, yep, I'm feeling the hardcore retail work all over again. Sorry, Josh,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
mean, I'll tell you this now. At this point, your characters have learned this from direct experience. Being like just a person in the Empire really sucks.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So
So
that's going on in the background. Daphne?
Yeah, so as Galawian is explaining the last little bit about, the market and all the other perks of the Myth of Honor, I say loud enough so that Guth and Almanya can hear me too. Yeah, but you're leaving out the best part, yeah? If you are the members of the Myth of Honor, then you get to go and sample all the wares in the Red Fort too. The places, the brothels and
Yes,
such.
I thought I was
It's a
wondering
very-
when you'd get the guts to say that word.
And that is not the word that we use. And he looks a little sternly at you, Daphne.
I'm sorry,
There
but it is the
are-
word that the DM put in my in my cheat sheet.
Yes, right
a
before the note.
thing.
Right before the note that said that no Vreeman would ever admit it.
That note is not in my document, sir.
Is it not?
Nope.
Did I send you a different one?
Nope.
Never mind. Anyway,
Well, the minute
says
he
that.
says that, Vera says, "Call a spade, darling."
I don't see how shovels enter into this, but your guide is correct. Then you join the Myth of Honor. There are quite a few benefits. But again, if you do not wish to become a Jaeger, what you can do is, if you wish to join in the Maktan, as your friend back there is quite eager to do, you can attract the councils of some of the wards and gain sponsorship. And if you can gain the sponsorship of the Red Ward, then you can bypass the Myth of Honor and gain those benefits as well.
Sorry, you're cutting out there at the end. Sorry. Just bad
privilege.
internet.
The basic note is, like you can bypass the Myth of Honor if you get a ward sponsorship, then you have access to a lot of that anyway.
So would the Mars ward have a council like that?
The Mars ward does not. The Mars ward is essentially the ward size barracks for the legions. So whichever is the senior commandant would be the person you talk to.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I can arrange that for you if that's what you wish to do.
Very helpful. Yes, it does seem to me, sir, and I'll just talk to Galawian. This does look like a very attractive prospect, perhaps for my friends here. I point at the dart throwing people here. Can I make a quick insight check? Can I tell how old Galawian is? I know it's hard with half elves, but
Sure,
can I
roll
tell-
insight check.
yeah, because I want to make a commiserating remark about traveling with young people, but I don't want to offend him.
Yeah, go ahead and roll insight.
18.
18. He is not young for half of it. So
He's not young.
He is certainly older than anybody except you.
Did anybody? Sorry, you cut out again. Did anybody but me?
Correct.
All right.
He's probably somewhere between like 60 and 80.
Alrighty. So you know what the young are like, full of vim and vigor. And again, those are very attractive prospects for a Jaeger. Unfortunately, most of them seem to have to do with going out into the wilds and exploring deep dungeons whence no one has ever gone before. I'm a bit of a homebody, to be perfectly honest. I'm here to do a, shall we say, a job, and then I'm here to go home.
Insight check.
That's the God's honest truth.
Yeah, roll insight.
You're a homebody is the God's honest truth.
I never wanted to leave Onisher. My entire life is Onisher. I hate the wilderness.
16.
What would your passive deception be here?
My passive deception. Should I just roll deception? I'm
10
not
plus
lying.
10 plus her
No.
charisma bonus.
Yeah. So okay.
Or her
So-
deception bonus, whichever's higher.
So Daphne. Oh, or deception. Thank you. So deception. Yeah. So Vera,
Mm-hmm.
is that entirely true? Because
Yes.
nothing forced you to leave Usher in the first place.
Yes, I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do a job. I have no
Right, but
intention of
what's-
staying out of Onisher.
But what is it that caused you to leave it in the first place?
Well, it was two things. One was getting Almanya back for complicated reasons. And the other was I needed to contact people in Vreem to try and negotiate something for Onisher. I have no intention of being an adventurer. That is not Vera's deal.
Okay.
She just wants to go
Daphne,
home.
She appears to be telling the truth.
Okay.
Although she is leaving out one thing.
Living stuff out. Yes.
Okay.
And Grace, for your knowledge, what I'm assuming you're leaving out is that you have actually personally sworn to help out Laura Vies, who has transferred the debt to Calista.
Yes.
So,
So
there
I
is something else you're going to have to do.
Yes. But my specific reason for being here in Vreem is a specific job, and then I have every intention of going back to Onisher. I'm not wandering the world.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
So again, this looks like a very attractive prospect to my young friends, but perhaps not for me.
Indeed. So, would any of you like to pay your way out of Samar's world? Who seemed quite excited to do so. Shall we finalize that?
Josh, quick aside here is because I know what's on their papers. Do I know who actually forked over the money to get this group into the Empire in the first place? Like, do I know that came from Vera, not from anybody else?
I'll say that you probably. I mean, you were standing there. No, you didn't see them enter the Empire. No, you would have no idea specifically where that gold came from. It doesn't.
Okay. Gotcha. Thanks.
But you did say, Mr. Garawian, sir, that right here we could pay our way out of the Mars ward, because that's certainly attractive to me, even if being a Jaeger isn't.
Indeed, you can. Would you like to do so?
Remind me, Josh, how much money did I pay? Because it really wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a lot.
It wasn't a lot.
It was about 2,000 gold?
No, just for me in particular.
Oh, just for you?
It was 51 gold
Okay.
pieces. It was 50 gold
You
pieces.
paid 51.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm
So you
totally
just-
giving that up. I don't care.
Okay. So you're giving that up, and you told Goose he could give his up,
Yes.
and his was 875.
Yep, I'm cool with that.
It was funny. Sorry, it was.
It was so dang funny. It was so worth it.
Grace will totally pay fake money to enjoy the scene. Almanya, did you pay your way out?
Yeah, I do. I paid quite a bit into the pot.
I think you shelled out for so the most expensive were Almanya and Shoji and Goose.
Yeah, I paid 1,100. I wrote it down.
Okay. So yeah, if you guys just want to void all of the money that you spent, then that's just gone. But now you're out of the first board, and you can go to the Imperial Academy, you can go to the the elite craftsman, etc.
You're really
quick question.
cutting out, Josh. What else did you?
Yeah.
What was the end of that?
Yeah, my Google Drive keeps telling me that I'm having trouble. Sound keeps disconnecting. This is rough.
I can put it in the chat because I also have it, Josh.
Yeah, so you've got the document, so you can participate now in the competition. You've got access to the Imperial Academy. You have access to kind of their great library. You've got access to the artist board. Almanya, if you wanted to have an instrument made, you would have access to very good craftsmen. And you have access to the spring markets, where you can buy fresh fruit and vegetables.
And you could stay with someone like Iran instead of being in the Legion barracks.
That being said, are we allowed to stay in the Legion barracks?
You have a week to find somewhere else to stay.
That also was not in my document.
Okay, because that's what I wanted to know, because that's where all my my contacts are, is in the barracks. Okay.
Correct. So you've got 9 days left. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Gebrecan. I'm sorry, you said that even not as a Jaeger, we can participate in competition?
Yes, you can. For the time, you cannot participate in the main fight. But you can participate in some of the preliminary fights that go on from morning until around mid-afternoon. And then late afternoon, the actual competition start, and you would not be able to participate in those. But preliminary fights, great way to build experience and also to attract award sponsor.
Wonderful. I love it. Well, you have been so immensely helpful. Thank you very much.
Here.
Of course, it is my job. I am the part of the hall. It will see you all. Welcome to the Empire. I hope you enjoy the sights in the Imperial City.
I will. Thank you very much.
Didn't catch all of that.
Yeah, sorry, Josh. Your connection's flipping
Is
in and
anybody
out.
else having trouble with Fantasy Grounds? Because it just dropped entirely for me.
Yeah.
I can't get back on.
It's because I think Josh's internet's cutting in and out, because it's saying like the host is disconnecting and reconnecting.
I think we may have just lost Josh.
Oh no!
Is he just gone? The one person.
Still hear.
Oh, he's there.
Still
Okay.
hear
You're back. You're back. You're just frozen and.
Darn, we can't talk crap about him now. Oh.
But I was
I
about
was
to,
like,
I guess
I guess everything good happens. We all get our money back. We
I
get
know. We all get what we want.
We if this keeps up, we may have to just have a shorter episode. Xfinity did supposed upgrades to like the whole area a couple of days ago.
Oh.
And
It
it
probably
has, it
kind
has
of smoothed itself out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Too bad.
we'll continue as best we can.
Right.
It's good because it's
all right.
frozen on a really good smile for you right now, Josh.
Yes. That's
Perfect. I'm so glad.
Oh wait, now it's frozen on a face palm, which is so much better.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
moving
Now,
on.
now the stream just went down. Shoot.
Oh no.
Okay, that's not my fault.
No. Oh, no, JD says it's not down. It's fine.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
That's fine.
everybody's having
We're
connectivity
just
issues.
gonna
Rearranging stuff.
keep going next week. All right. So you guys leave. I assume.
Yeah, I'll go out. Unless you
Guth,
guys, yeah, unless you
Guth,
guys want to
wanted
be.
to sign up with the Fortune's Kiss for the green spines.
Wait, do you have to join a party to be a Jaeger, or can you just be an independent contractor?
No, but Guth is the only one who indicated any like active, energetic interest in it. So he's offering to sign Guth up with an existing Jaeger party.
Right, but he could be independent if he wanted to. All right.
Yeah, but
I
I think
probably
you have to
can't be.
register, right? You have to register before you can actually be an official Jaeger and take on contracts. That's what I understood.
No, you're considered a Jaeger if you basically call yourselves an adventuring party. Look, if you guys were to say we are an adventuring party, you would be considered Jaegers. But there are Jaegers, and then there are Jaegers who are members of the Myth of Honor and have access to all of these different.
Oh, that's when you get like the magical stuff. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
they called us Jaegers when we were back at Honesture. Like they were like, we're the Jaegers because they just assumed that we were. I'll just Guth will just become a Jaeger. And he'll just like after he finishes that, he won't become like he'll just be like, okay, whatever. I need to sign for me to get out of here. I don't want to join the Fortune's Kiss or whatever. But we'll just sign it or something. Okay.
No signing is necessary. You will simply, when you leave the Empire, you will not receive gold back, and I will make the necessary changes to your passport. That will be communicated very quickly to the authorities. So you're all set. You are no longer bound to Oswald.
Yeah, just please give that back. It's my 5th thing. So,
Of course, yes, it is yours. Yeah, you guys get your paper back immediately. He pulls out an obviously not like mundane quill out of kind of a belt that he wears, and make a couple of changes to each of your passports. So you are now considered residents.
Residents, but not like citizens, right?
Correct, not citizens. So you've
Good
been
clarification, Mary. Good job.
yes.
Make sure.
On your passport, it goes from enemy to foreigner to resident to ally to citizen.
I'm really hoping enemies have passports. Like the enemy walks up and they're like, "Hi, I'm here to take over your city. Here's my passport. Thank you."
Oh, they absolutely do. Like from what you've seen, right? They let Guth in. They charged him a hell of a lot of money, and they left useful notes for anybody else kind of on his passport, but they let him in. There seems to be a tremendous confidence that, look, even if you're an enemy, there's a limited amount of damage that you can do before we're going to beat your ass.
Yeah.
So,
I'm planning on going to the Colosseum and finding the Scarlet Flame.
Yeah, vote.
let's find the red fire, people. Let's go. Yay. Okay.
And maybe we can get Guth somebody to hit.
I swear to God, if we talk to more paper boys, I can't do it anymore.
So, Josh, if I am Daphne and I am looking at my map, where is what ward are we supposed to be in at this point?
The Colosseum is in the Ars ward, I believe.
Okay, so it's the circular thing. Gotcha. That makes sense. Or like the oval, like football pitch. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, right next to where it's just north or a little north east. Sorry, a little northwest of the university, the academy.
The academy is the one that's in the circles?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Gotcha. And where are we now? The Myth of Honor, is that also in the Ars ward?
No. So if you take a look at kind of the theater-shaped building in the Palace District,
Yeah.
It's one of the rectangular buildings to the south of it.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. But it's not far, yeah? It's just, probably.
Good. I have short legs.
Well, I could carry you if you want, but...
Oh no, it was a statement of pride, shall we say.
Yeah, that's fine. I just, sometimes, never mind.
All right. You guys head to the Colosseum. It's a good 20-minute walk. But you eventually you arrive, and at the moment, again, as you're passing through the streets, there are people carrying like colorful banners, decorations, things like that. You don't see them being put up at the moment, but there are definitely people transporting those. People are transporting all kinds of foods, candies, vegetables, fruits. And there is a slow but steady trickle of people kind of going in the same direction towards the Colosseum. And you are greeted at the gate by a very upbeat-looking young elven woman. Yes. So kind of everybody in front of you has kind of gone through and entered this giant portal that, not like a magical portal, but a literal...
I was gonna say, I had a moment like, Josh, what?
We get the word from the Latin, and I was using the Latin. I
I
apologize.
know, but
I know.
There's a large arched entryway through which the people ahead of you have kind of gone into here. And you can hear like isolated groups of cheering kind of from like over here, and then some echoing from over there. You don't hear like the massive roar of a huge crowd. But as you get up there, yes, are you here to see the fights?
Yes, we are fans of a particular Jaeger party that we would very much like to speak to. Scarlet Flame?
Oh, yes. Can I see your papers, please?
Yes, of course. I show my passport.
All right. Yes. You are all excellent. Recent residents. Welcome to the Empire. We are so happy to have you. You can take your seat anywhere in the stands. Currently, there are 3 fights going on. You may choose to watch whichever ones you like, and you are free to move about the stands as you will. You said the Scarlet Flame. They are not fighting until it looks like 2 days from now. But you may be able to find them in the stands. They might be watching, or they might be training, in which case you will have to wait for later.
Do they happen to wear any very distinctive insignia, something that would help us find them in a crowd?
Are they on fire or something? Is that the thing?
Rope, perhaps.
She starts shuffling through some papers. Scarlet Flame. They don't have any particular banner or symbol.
Do they all have red hair? At least something?
They're not selling a poster of them at the merch shop or something? Like there's not like a blow up poster, shirts like I love the Scarlet Flame.
I want one.
Flame heads.
Please, Jenny, make the design. Can we buy one that just says "I love the Scarlet Flames" and it's just like in flames, and it's like the early 2000s like super dramatic flames that you put on like your scooter or something.
I'm trying.
My
I
heart-
Hot rod. Hot
Merciless.
rod.
My heart is
All
aflame
of-
for the Scarlet Flames.
Yes. I
all
want
of
this.
these, all of these are wonderful ideas. Guth, if you'd like to give me a perception check.
If I roll high enough, it becomes so. This is how I shape the world.
It's dead.
Okay.
That's one way of looking at it. A 13. There is, so you can see, right, a significant part of Vreem is kind of analogous to Rome. So there is, of course, graffiti in places, things kind of carved or painted on various places. With 13, you see an extremely crude drawing of a figure with either fire or really spiky hair, and their entire, like, all of their skin is painted red, even though they're wearing like some kind of armor.
I love whoever this anime boy is already. Like, let's just go.
There is,
Totally an anime boy.
there
So
is
this is either the Scarlet Flame dude or a guy who got stabbed in the head and he's bleeding a lot.
Also
So
into that look.
real quick, it's Scarlet Flame with an N.
Oh. I did not hear that.
So the spelling is Flayn.
Not a single time did I get that one. Just
No.
saying.
Me neither. Me neither. That is
not
not what I
come through.
heard.
Well, now I'm less interested.
Yeah, no, they're not as exciting now. Sorry.
Yeah, they're
And-
not as cool.
And written and like carved into the stone next to it, it says, like, go Scarlet Flame.
Okay. I am just going to shall we go look for them, chaps? And I'm just
Yeah.
gonna work my way down through the crowd and just sort of be asking people as I go through. Has anybody seen Scarlet Flame?
I am also asking, but it's more like, hey, have you seen the Scarlet Flame?
Whereas
Much
I'm
more
faking,
forceful.
yeah, I'm
Real
faking being a fangirl.
Okay. Vera, give me a persuasion check. Daphne, you can give me persuasion or intimidation with advantage.
Thank you.
Guth is gonna take the proportions of the picture and take his fingers and then hold his fingers closer to his face and see if anyone fits the proportions in the box.
Guth, you
26.
can give me a perception check with disadvantage. Contrary to popular belief, this does not improve your vision.
Cheerful drill sergeant for the win.
Apparently, it works better than fake fangirl.
Okay. Daphne, you are the most successful. Most people look at you, look at the rank insignia on your armor, and they're like, "Yeah, I think I saw them. Yeah, so down that way." And eventually, you kind of make your way to a group of 7 individuals sitting in the stands. At the moment, all of them are wearing full armor, which is a little strange because they're not slated to fight for a couple of days. They are sitting in the stands watching this, but all of them are at least wearing chainmail. They're all fully girded with their weapons. You can see Daphne will continue your 26 perception kind of through the end of the scene.
It was intimidation, but sure.
Oh, I'm sorry, that was intimidation. Give me a perception check.
Okay.
Can I ask to, once I think that it's them, can I just tell by the body language who's sort of in charge, if anyone?
You can give me an insight check.
Okay.
18.
Daphne, with an 18, you can see one of them has this like bronze statuette of a griffin
Come
attached
on.
to their belt. They are laden with a lot of clearly magical items and weaponry. You also notice that when you guys get within about 100 yards, all of them are locked onto you. All of them have noticed your approach from about 100 yards and are watching you with just kind of a sociopathic dead-eye stare. As you get closer, all of their armor is like painted or smeared red, and it looks like they paint their skin as well. But as you guys get closer, you realize, so you're not sure what race any of them are, because all of them, their skin is kind of this pink, dark red color, and you can see all of the veins
Oh,
and like muscles pretty well. All of these people have been flayed head to toe at some point.
ow.
Okay, I don't like these
Yeah.
people at all.
Sorry.
Not
Scott,
here for it.
with that, do I also notice if they have any religious iconography about their persons at all?
Roll a religion check with disadvantage.
Remember that I think that religion is super creepy, so yeah. That's fair.
And as you guys get within about 20, 30 feet, all but a couple of them have lost interest in you, and they're just watching. Kind of in the arena, there are 3 different clusters of fights going on. Each side looks to be about 5 people. So there's about 30 people kind of down on the sands, way spread out. And kind of in the area of each one, there's a different like cluster of crowd. The Coliseum is by no means full. These look like fairly minor fights. There's the occasional like burst of magic or whatnot. But all of this seems relatively low level. Daphne,
Yeah, I don't
roll
think I see anything.
disadvantage, a 7.
Yeah.
Nothing
I can't tell.
recognized being religious. And you guys approach, and most of them, 5 of them now are just watching the fight that's going on below, and kind of the stands are lit with just an explosion of light as somebody lets loose a fireball down there.
Nice.
So 2 of them are still looking at us.
Yeah, 2 of them are just looking straight at you guys.
I'll just keep eye contact with one of them and walk up and sort of be, because as I was going through the crowd, it was more like bumbling, like, oh, do you know where the Scarlet Flame is? Now I'm all business.
Okay.
And I'll just approach one of them, eye to eye, and say, I hear you're the ones to talk to about a job.
As you get within about 10, 15 feet, both of them, their hands just shift to a dagger or a sword, and you get the vibe. You start right about there, and you notice there's a good 20 or 30 foot radius of empty stadium seating between them and anybody else watching the fight that they are watching.
Mm-hmm. So I'll just walk up and hold my hands out, but I'm not projecting any fear, if that makes sense. And just say, I hear you're the ones to talk to about a job. Sorry if you're talking, Josh, we can't hear you. Hello?
Kind of job.
Well, actually quite a simple job. We just need to talk to someone.
Then go talk to them.
We need to talk to someone in Onisha.
Speak your piece or leave. Not
All right,
interested in this conversation.
All right, here's my piece. We heard from the proctor of the Guildhall that someone in your party has magical means to speak across wide distances. We wish to speak to someone in Onisher. What's your price?
Give me a persuasion check. Looks like we're in another cycle of my internet connection.
Yeah, sorry. Ooh,
I keep getting these long messages where like Nick Guth disconnected. Nick Guth connected.
Oh no.
man, I rolled decently, but it was not in the tray,
Oh
apparently.
shoot!
Come on.
It's okay. This time you roll a natural 20.
Of course I went.
And she did, ladies and gentlemen. That's what she did.
I spoke, and so it was.
Okay,
As
this means I
is
have to
just
redden my
and right
dice.
for the dungeon master.
I have to change the color of my dice. They get redder the more natural 20s I roll.
As you may have guessed, she did indeed roll a natural 20. Why does that never work when I'm the one rolling? I'm gonna roll a natural 20. Okay.
Oh dear.
Vera, the one you're speaking to, looks at right, maintaining eye contact, nods, stands up, and walks just silently to the very edge, kind of looking straight down into the fight that's happening.
Mm-hmm. I follow him and go stand next to him.
Okay. You stand next to him. You give him how much space are you giving him?
Comfortable distance, not threatening, but also, you know, how much you would to reach in for a handshake or make a business deal.
Okay. He makes no response to that. So you walk up to him and you're looking down at this fight and you're watching, frankly, just a scrum. All attempt at like skill, at finesse, at tactics has just gone. Two people are just rolling in the dust, like cramming dust in each other's faces, slamming each other. A couple of others, their swords have broken, and they both got shields, and they're just like slamming against each other, trying to shove each other. There is no finesse or skill in this fight whatsoever. Give me an insight check to see if you can notice kind of where this guy's focus is.
As I do, I'm just going to say, not a lot of finesse, is there? And insight is 17.
17. Okay. You notice kind of where his eyes are, and he's looking at a half-orc youth who has like a great shield over their head. There's just this large, well-muscled human woman with a club just slamming down on this shield. And as every slam, like this person like crunches a little bit lower, slides back a little bit in the sand. And that is where this person's focus is.
Doesn't seem like a fair fight, right there.
Should be.
Sorry, just say it a little louder.
Should be.
I agree. Fairness is important. Why is he out there, that kid?
He doesn't listen.
I'm a mother,
Teach
I know
him.
kids.
Jalen will contact the one you seek. You will put sense into him.
Very well. What is the young man's name?
Karan.
Karan?
Karan.
Josh, you want to just put it in the chat for us? Because we keep not catching everything you're saying.
Yeah, that's fine.
Karan, talk sense into him. Is the guy I'm talking to a dragonborn?
No. You can't tell the race. You can tell definitely was never dragonborn.
Okay.
It's a little bit hard to tell with most of the features, like kind of red scar tissue.
Does he have tusks?
Roll a perception check.
Fortunately, not my dump stat.
14. He does not have tusks.
Okay. So this Karan, I take it sense would be to seek another line of work.
The deal is communication for training. How you train is your decision.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
He essentially said the deal was information for getting sense into him. However you get sense into him doesn't seem to matter.
I know, but what I'm asking is to this person, what is sense? What does he want the young man to do?
For starters, to defend himself.
In other words,
See, he blinds himself with the shield. He cannot see the attack coming. There's a balance to be struck. Teach it to him. And again, the voice that comes out, it sounds a bit dragonborn. But as you listen to it, it sounds more like just his lungs and vocal cords have been scorched. We're talking like maybe he was just like he chain smokes every day for 30 years, or something has happened to his lungs and or vocal cords, which kind of gives his voice the affectation that you hear.
I say, good. I was worried you were going to tell me to convince him not to be a fighter. But we all got to be fighters, right? But smart ones.
If we are to survive, there is no other kind.
I agree. All right.
Collect him after the battle. Teach him. When you wish to send a message, speak with Jalen. And he just points to one of the other Jaegers in this group, who doesn't seem is wearing kind of light, medium armor, combination leather and chainmail, but otherwise doesn't have any terribly distinctive features. Right? Again, like there's no hair. All of the skin has been flayed and regrown, horribly scarred and deep red.
So, sorry, did he say to catch the kid after the fight?
Yeah, he said collect him after the fight.
Okay, sorry, I can't understand. Okay. All right.
You got a new mic, Grace. You don't have to rub it in.
Sorry, guys. I'm super proud. I put it into a text. You guys can buy it too off of Amazon.
The new mic on this new camera is not working great, so I'll probably pick up a separate mic anyway.
All right. All right. Pleasure to do business with you. Always better to have the world full of smart fighters.
Can I kind of wander in toward the last part of this conversation?
Yeah, I was going to turn around and walk away.
Okay.
He does the exact same thing. So Daphne, as you kind of walk towards this, both of them, without a word of like farewell, just turn and split. he walks back to his group, sits down exactly where he was, and Vera kind of turns and walks towards you.
I like
All right,
him.
then. Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Real quick,
Mm-hmm.
real quick, during the conversation, Almanya, Goose, what were you guys doing? Daphne as well, because you didn't walk
Watching
up
the
until
fight.
just watching. Okay,
Yeah.
it's kind of
Sounds chaotic.
it's definitely chaotic. Your instinct is to probably mock it, but also Almanya hasn't been in a lot of fights, but in Liliana's memories, none of the fights you've been in have been much better.
Okay.
I was just gonna say that Guth has spent most of the time commentating and like kind of being like, "Oh, that was a good move, going for the mouth. That's a good hook. Yeah, I like that. Oh, good shit. Yeah, like really getting into it." So,
All right.
What Daphne would do is just kind of size up the rest of the group, the Scarlet Flame, and look at like what sort of accoutrement they have, that sort of thing. But also just kind of wander over and awkwardly sort of try to introduce just some conversation into the, see if she gets anything back. Just kind of like walk over and make some comment about the fight.
You take a few steps closer, and the other one who was watching you guys immediately stands up, and like hand on dagger. Are you continuing closer?
Well, no, I'll give the battle speak side of hold, just because that's normal for me at this point, just kind of as a reflex.
She cocks her head at
Good day. I don't know what's the correct term of greeting in your culture is, so I will say Myrna's blessing upon you. How do you do?
She spits on the ground at her feet and takes her seat again.
Very well.
So do you want to go with the insight, or do you want to go with insight to get the vibe of the group, or perception to take a look at accoutrement?
I would probably, as a soldier, probably more into like what their actual capabilities are.
Okay. Give me an insight check.
Insight or perception?
That's the perception.
I just described perception.
I'm sorry, perception. You're correct.
Okay.
You're going specifically for accoutrement.
Yeah. 18.
18. They're all fairly similar. There's not a uniform, but everything is very efficient. Everything is like readily available. There's a lot of like pouches on bandoliers and belts that can be grabbed. There are at least 2 casters. You cannot tell the type, but there's at least 2 casters, and the rest are various degrees of fighters. There are swords, axes. Most of the weapons are magical to some degree. Right, they're kind of unnaturally bright. They glow a little bit. And a couple of the kind of primary armor that several of them wear are similarly like unnaturally clean, whereas the rest of their gear seems to be very used and well worn.
Okay. So just kind of sizing them up, do I gather that they're pretty experienced adventurers, maybe not quite so green as this group?
On a range of 1 to 20, what would you call them?
Hey, I'm asking in character.
Daphne, you don't know a lot about.
No, but I know my
Yeah.
legion. I know my legion comrades. So, like, where do they fall, kind of in that scheme? Obviously, legion is better, but that's beside the point.
You really can't tell the range of their ability just from their equipment.
Okay.
Clearly experienced. How
Okay.
experienced, you're not sure.
Okay. But they have the look of battle-hardened people about them.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
noobs.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Since
So
I
Vera,
got
you split.
such a warm
ahead.
reception, that's why I will turn and walk towards Vera.
Yep, so warm. Vera, you kind of split from that conversation to meet Daphne as she walks towards you.
Yes. I'm going to watch this fight, Daphne Lovey. Shall we?
Sure, I mean, the boy is clearly getting his arse handed to him, but whatever.
Yes, but I'd like to know why and how, very particularly. And
His
I will
R
go and-
Ford.
Yeah, exactly. I will go and I will find a seat somewhere like not within the threatening aura of this group. And I am just going to analyze the heck out of this kid and what is happening to him and how he is reacting to
I'll
what
go
is
with
going
you.
on.
Are we getting up and walking away from those guys?
Yeah.
Say what again?
Okay. I was just gonna, as we leave, Guth will look over his shoulder and say, "Okay, bye guys. Hope we didn't get under your skin too much."
Oh no. They're going to kill all of us. They're going to kill every single one of us.
I'm gonna roll a percentile die.
Please, God.
Actually, you know what? Nick, you roll a percentile die. I'm not
this
gonna
is-
be responsible for
this
your
is way
cuts.
better.
All right.
Hey, it's a critical success. Wrong system.
Or it's a critical failure. You don't know what the number was. Guth, you are not obliterated where you stand.
Nice.
There is no reaction. What's your passive perception?
Fairly certain it's 13.
Yeah.
13?
Yeah.
In reaction, the one of them actually draws the dagger and just starts like flipping it between their fingers, almost like you would a coin.
That's so cool.
Just kind of rolling it between them.
That's super
And you
cool.
can tell it's in reaction to what you said.
Big old toothless smile right back at him, and then we just keep walking.
Oh, she doesn't even look at you. Just dagger out, rolling between the fingers. Okay.
Is that the same one that spit on the ground when I said Myrna?
You're not watching this. You're watching a
Okay.
fight.
Yeah.
Both Vera and Daphne, you guys both give me insight checks.
Oh man, this is important. Please don't fail me now.
Oh, gosh, considering that I know soldiers.
If you know combat, so if you're not proficient in this, I'll allow you to add your proficiency bonus to this insight check.
Thank you.
16. Keeping in mind, I've raised a lot of young fighters.
Different kind of fighting, but sure.
True. I've raised some street fighters.
Daphne, he sucks.
He sucks. He's so bad I can't even figure out what's wrong with him.
He's never gonna make it in this game.
Oh, geez.
Okay. Vera with a 16. You pick up a few things. His footwork is shit. He is just fully like his feet are just kind of locked, and he is fully just hiding behind this shield. And you're pretty sure that if the lady beating down on him wasn't so angry right now, she would think to just like swing at the side and kick his ass. As you are watching, the shield starts to like splinter and break in the middle and then just break into pieces, and she just hammers him into unconsciousness, before she kind of turns with a feral look on her face and starts going after one of the other people on the battlefield. Whether that person is on her side or not, you're not sure.
Oh God.
She's clearly super angry. But a couple of things that you notice as she beat him into the ground, he does not appear to be frightened, just like shell-shocked, right? This lady just came at him and he just wasn't sure how to cope, so he just kind of shut down a little bit. You didn't really see like fear on his face. More just like an uncertainty, not knowing what the hell to do, and like, this seems to be working right now. And that's what you get before he gets beaten into the sands.
Dive between the legs. Drop the shield. Go between the legs.
So, Mrs. Mayweather.
As a teacher of young street fighters, this kid has zero guile.
Okay. Okay.
Daphne, what'd you say?
Mrs. Mayweather, why are you interested in this young failure?
That young man is the deal, apparently. I just spoke to the gentleman of the Scarlet Flame, and he has agreed to send our message, or one message, I believe was the agreement, to Anashir, if we talk sense into that young man. Teach him how to be a better fighter.
So you can what he said, but like, you can send the message immediately.
Like, this is the
Then-
cost?
Then you just have to put sense into the kid.
Oh. I'd rather do one before the other, to be honest.
Okay.
Wow. Honesty from an outlander. That is not common, yeah? Well,
It's about as common as personality from someone inside the city.
well, Mrs. Mayweather, honestly, I don't know. Like, I've trained with the legions, and like, he's bad.
Oh, I know he's bad. But, no one is so bad at anything that they can't be better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah.
Nowhere to go but up. We'll put it that way. But,
Well, he's down right now.
yes, and in fact, I need to watch this. I'm just going to peek over. Do I see where he's being dragged off the field once this is over, where he's being taken?
So there are a number of people lined kind of around the wall inside the Colosseum, and as soon as he went down, one of them ran over and did something, and then dragged him off through kind of a smaller gate in the wall of the Colosseum.
I am going to first of all turn to the group. I'm going to go find that young man, and perhaps we'll have a conversation. But that means apparently I need to go find my way down into these lower areas. Shall we, or do you want to stay, watch the fight? I don't see this taking terribly long. I'm just going to talk to him.
I'll go with you.
I could use your help. You all have different insights into what makes a fighter, shall we say, and I think he could learn from all of us. Yes?
Yeah.
Shall we go instruct a budding warrior? Make
Yeah.
him stronger, make him better? I feel like that's an honorable pursuit.
Well, I mean, he'll probably need to rest first before we beat the shit
Yes.
out of him.
Yes, well, I don't intend to do that. Again, I just want to talk to him. And
Well,
I've learned a
this
little bit
could
of...
be just the fight that Goose has been wanting, though, yeah?
Goose, please don't hit this young man. I think he's got enough for the day.
Not yet.
Don't worry, it doesn't even look fun. Like, he just gets hit. There's nothing worse than someone who just gets hit. Like, that, it almost makes you feel bad, you know? Like, ugh, so dirty. Gross.
I will have a word with some of my colleagues, and perhaps we can find some skirmishes for you back in the Legion camp, yeah?
Oh, I can find them myself, don't worry. I did it before.
Well, but this time you won't get into trouble because they will be willing to fight with you for their own training and not necessarily, it won't cost you anything as far as your privileges go, yeah? You won't have to worry about breaking any of the oaths or doing anything stupid.
It's just like a buzzing sound whenever people from inside the city start talking. There's it starts really low, and then it's just a really high pitched buzzing sound. By the end of the conversation, I just can't hear it anymore.
Daphne just truly laughs really hard, and then she turns to you in Orc and she says, I know, it drove me crazy when I first came here, but you get used to it after a while, right? You'll get used to it. It's better. Come on, man. Please.
Okay, sounds good. I don't want to hear any of the buzzing, but we'll just keep going. Let's find this little kid and beat them up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to just work my way down the Colosseum, and I assume there's somebody like guarding the under area where all the prep areas are.
Yeah, there are interior hallways that run around underneath and the stands and inside the Colosseum. You eventually find your way to kind of a couple of very large doors, like 10 feet wide, about 15 feet tall, just these massive double doors that are currently open, and there are just steps that lead down, and you can see torches that go down into a hallway. There are guards.
I'm pulling rank to get her past them.
Or I'm just asking. I'm here to see Karan. He was just in that fight. He really, really took a beating. I just want to see if he's all right.
All those who have fallen unconscious within the arena will, once they have regained consciousness, will be released probably within the next hour or two. But Daphne, you're going to try to pull rank? What do you say?
Well, just as cheerfully and aggressively as possible.
Daphne,
I will say
cheerfully aggressive.
Yes, that is her shtick. I'll say, yeah, well, we'll take this one off your hands right now, and we'll take him off, and he's good with, the bandages. She'll take good care of him, yeah? And he's been entrusted to our care by his minders.
You have healing capabilities. You can bring him back to consciousness.
I can certainly try.
Oh, the other one, where's that one? The skinny one.
Oh, yeah, is Soji
one.
with us?
Oh, great. Yeah, Shoji's with you.
Oh, then she can.
She can.
Oh yeah.
I feel like an idiot. I was like, the skinny one. What are you talking about?
Or technically, actually,
That's
Almanya,
her
so
entire-
can you.
that's
I'm
her
also
entire-
pretty skinny now.
But Almanya, also, you can heal.
I can. Yes.
So yeah, you certainly have the ability to bring somebody back to consciousness. So she can. Oh, that's really cool.
But I mean, I also know that Vera has healing potions now.
Well, I ain't wasting one of them on this kiddo, but
Yeah, but Daphne
I can
knows
shatter
you
him
have-
till he wakes up, too.
that works too.
Yeah, if you can bring him back to consciousness, you may go visit, but stay out of the other Jaeger rooms. It's
Of course. Yeah.
Go down the hall past the main drainage area, and it is the third one on the left.
Thank you.
But
Yeah.
Legion, they are your responsibility. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
And it smells spear.
On you go.
I'll
You guys
Drop down now?
descend. You guys descend into the true bowels of the Colosseum. You pass training rooms where you can see people just smashing on each other, smashing dummies. There are long ranges where people are practicing archery. You can hear explosions coming from somewhere else, and every once in a while, just the reverberations of some massive concussion will kind of echo through the hallways. You also pass rooms where there are Legion medics making sure that people are not bleeding out, and eventually, you guys kind of you enter the room that was indicated to you. And laid out on several tables are a few people, one of whom is this half-orc Karan kid. Just totally out, bruises kind of on mostly on one side of him, and then just like the shoulder all the way down the arm, and like a good portion of this side is just one huge patchwork of mottled, just dark bruises that almost seem to be like spreading as you watch. We're not talking like internal bleeding, but like the bruises are developing as you observe.
Can I just start by doing an old-fashioned medical check?
You can go ahead. Roll medicine.
As in, can I bring him? In other words, could I bring him round without using magic? Is my question.
I'll tell you what. Give me a natural 20, and you can bring him around without using magic.
Blah, 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 blah. Ooh, it was close.
It was a
It
mod.
was
Sissy.
It was a mod 20.
You check him over. Magic has been used to stabilize him. He'll probably be out for a couple of hours.
All right. Suji, could you do me a favor? Just give him a little boost for me. I'd like to speak to him.
Well, I wanted to give him the good old boot camp wake up.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
going for I'm going for a more gentle rising with the dawn, waking come
Let's
to
go,
bed.
Tiny Tusk. Time to train. Come on, get up. And I'm going to cast Healing Word.
All right.
I love that.
I don't know what's going to happen in this encounter, so in case his hit points matter, go ahead and roll the healing dice for it.
5.
5? All right. He is at 5 hit points.
We immediately knock him out again. No.
Just for future reference. All right.
Cool.
He kind of...
Oh, it's all right, lovey. I've been there.
Curls over onto, like, towards one side, just like...
Shake it off. Pain is weakness leaving the body. Let's go. Come on. Time to train.
Ow.
What resources are in this room? As in, are there bandages? Are there poultices? What's in here?
This is basically just a room where you can drop your stuff and where they put your body when you've been knocked out.
Mhm.
There's not a whole lot in here.
I'm going to take. I know he's curled up like this, so I'm going to take his head and face it towards me like this, and be holding it like this.
His eyes are like scrunched shut as he just goes, ow!
Karan, I need you to open your eyes for me, Karan. I need you to look.
Who are you?
I need you to listen to me very carefully. And I'm going to essentially use it's the meditation technique. And I'm going to
Okay.
talk him through the pains in your head. The pains in your head. It's all
No,
in your
it's not.
head.
Definitely in my arm.
Listen to my
Give me a
voice.
couple of ribs.
Listen to my voice. And I'm going to essentially walk him through like a meditation, like you're looking over a calm lake. Looking over a calm lake. You're sinking into cool water.
Give me a persuasion check.
Persuasion.
Why is there a big golden star on Vera's portrait?
I have no idea.
What does that signify?
Clearly, I don't know. I'm
It's special.
I'm making an important role.
19? Okay. He starts to breathe deeper.
Yeah, breathe deep.
Walk him through that. His eyes kind of open a little bit, and he stops moving.
It's all in your head. And guess who's in control of your head?
You are?
No, lovey. There's only one person in the world who can control what's going on behind your eyes, and that's you. You feel what you
I'm
want
really
to feel.
I'm really confused. You're holding my head.
Yes, I am, so that you'll listen.
Okay.
Are you calm?
Sure.
Are you breathing?
Yes.
Good.
Breathing.
That's more than you were 5 seconds ago. Progress.
Butter. Okay.
You've just lost a fight, lovey. Do you remember the fight? You've had hit to the head.
No.
All
There are
right.
ducks in the water.
Yes, there are
Oh.
ducks.
That
Oh, that's nice.
Good boy.
Okay, he seems fairly calm. If still in pain.
Yes. So you really don't remember the fight? It's why you're hurting.
Die. Oh, yeah. There was an angry woman.
Yes, there
Yep.
was.
That was
yeah,
not
and
fun.
she beats the shit out of you.
Yeah,
Yes.
she did.
And do you remember, Karan? Why were you in that fight?
Did it look good? Did I look good? I mean, I know I
No.
lost.
So you were in
No?
that you were in the fight to look good. Yes?
I mean, why else would you be in the fight?
It's certainly a reason, and I'm not saying it's a bad one. It's certainly a reason many of us fight.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of people watching, and if you do really good, then the wards will pay for your food, and they'll pay for your bed.
Is
And,
that why you want
people
to-
will know you.
Is that why you want to look good?
I mean, yeah.
To get the food, to get the benefits, get the
I mean,
glory.
we're talking free food and free housing and the Red Ward. The Red Ward would be the best. Do you know anybody on the council?
That's
You know
afraid not.
nobody at all.
But
friend. It sounds to me like what you need is the Legion. You get your
Daphne,
meal,
lovely,
your
Daphne,
board is covered.
Yeah,
you get
please
anywhere you
continue.
want in the city.
Can I reach up and just go choo 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 choo?
You cannot reach her mouth.
I just go. I hold up 2 fingers. Go choo 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 choo.
Nope, I'm not Talia, so I do not shut up. And you know, with a
No.
little bit of work, you could get there. You just you-
Daphne,
Oh, come
Daphne, I
on,
need to speak to this young man.
The Legion sucks.
Yes.
You suck. You got hit in the same
suck
shield
more.
like 15 times.
Yeah, I got hit in the shield, man. It looks like you've been hit in the teeth. God, at least I got behind something.
Karan
Oh,
Levy.
you don't want to see these teeth up close, I'll tell you that.
You
Ooh.
would have to be up close in order to see them. So many of them are missing. God, what happened to you?
That's a really weird paradox because, like you said, there's so few of them, so they're easier to see. I think you got hit in the head a couple too many times, dude.
No, I didn't say. No,
No,
the Legion.
Then you think the Legion suck because they wouldn't take you anyway.
I have a question, Josh.
Everyone-
When I was,
Was the bird?
Josh, I have a question.
Yeah.
Just real quick. What was he fighting with when he was fighting down there? Was he a sword and a shield? Was he a shield and a pike? What was he using?
He was wielding a shield of the kind of the same size of a Legion shield, so like a tower shield.
Okay.
But definitely not a Legion shield. This was a little bit heavier, a little bit thicker,
Mhm.
and kind of rounded at the edges. So it's not kind of that like half column shield that you see among the legionaries. And he had some kind of long sword in a scabbard that it doesn't look like he ever had the time to draw.
Does he still have that weaponry with him now?
It's all piled in the corner. So he's been basically stripped down to like his breeches, and everything else is just kind of set aside.
Okay, can I go and grab the sword and the shield and slam kind of the shield into the ground and pull out the sword and go, yeah, I haven't used one of these in a while, but my brother did.
Give me an athletics check as you go and pick up the shield.
What?
As you go and pick up the shield, give me an athletics check.
Oh.
I thought the shield broke.
That's true. It did. So you'd be lifting like half of it.
Okay.
So yeah, give me with advantage.
Okay. Athletics is not my best.
Double 17s.
Double 17.
Cool.
All right, I'll take it.
You don't have to. It's significantly heavier than you thought, but you get a good grip on the remainder of the handle and kind of hoist it up. It's still one piece, but like the center has just been smashed and broken and cracked through.
Okay.
You kind of hoist it up, and it's a little bit awkward, but you get it up, and you've got the long sword in hand.
There's something like oddly familiar to Almanya about it because she used to be her brother's sparring partner when he was like first starting to train. And then she went to Bard school and he decided to keep training, in weaponry. So there is something kind of like,
Your brother's a little different. He's a little bit more of a duelist. So less of like the shield and more just raw skill with the blade. But yeah.
And I look at this guy and I'm like, yeah, your technique just needs a little bit of work. You're very much a like hack and slash. I get the feeling, even though I didn't even see you hold the sword, but I feel like you just need a little bit better technique and then it will be better.
I mean, look, if I had gotten my hand on the sword, it would have been fine. Okay, you would have seen something different.
Oh, I totally believe you. Absolutely believe you. How long have you been training?
He doesn't train, clearly.
You have a mentor or somebody to teach you how to train? It's like really hard to train without somebody who knows what they're doing to show you how to do it properly.
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, but do you like have a mentor to help you like get better?
No, I taught myself. God,
that's great.
Who are you people?
I taught myself how to write music, and then I went to barding college so that I could get better at writing. People are better than me.
Karan, we were sent here by a friend of yours to help you get better at fighting because it's what you want, correct?
Wait, did Gertis? Is Gertis fine? She finally quit?
I'm sorry, I don't know that name. All I know is it was a member of the Scarlet Flame.
What? Who? I don't. I don't understand. Gertis didn't send you?
No, who is that?
I mean, she's. Okay, look. I wanted to join the Greenspines. Gertis is training me.
So you have a trainer. Why didn't you tell me? Goodness gracious.
She just started to train me. I taught myself most of it, okay? I'm good at this. I don't know what this Scarlet Flame is. I mean, I don't know if that's just a bad joke. Why would the Scarlet Flame be talking about me?
Well, clearly they see, clearly they're experienced, clearly they're respected, and clearly they see potential.
They must be looking very hard.
Quick insight check here. Let's say that's true. I already, Gertis is going to show me some things, and it's not going to be that hard. And I don't know why you guys are here.
Yeah, me neither. Honestly, I'm seeing a pretty different angle on this one. What I saw was the Scarlet Flame seeing a little punk bitch get his ass beat and defacing the battlefield on which they stand. We were sent to talk sense into you. The sense is that you shouldn't be fighting. That was atrocious.
Wait a minute, Guth. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Not quite fair.
Dude,
shouldn't-
give me a quick intimidation check.
Damn right. Am I adding my strength or my charisma?
In this case, you're going to be adding your charisma, but I'm going to give you advantage.
1,
Oh no!
2. Goodness. Good thing we're not actually fighting this episode.
He kind of. Good thing we haven't been. Well, actually, I guess we fought last time. He starts to lurch off the table to go for you, and he just kind of goes, no, fuck you.
Not quite fair. Not quite fair, Guth. Not that he shouldn't be fighting. We've all got to do that. It's a cruel world. But
There are plenty of other opportunities within the empires that do not require
But-
fighting.
he shouldn't be fighting like a fool. You're going to fight smart, yes?
I mean, yeah.
Yes. And in order to fight smart, remember what I just told you? Everything behind your eyes is your own business and under your control.
Yeah.
So, first of all, you got to figure out why you're doing it.
I mean, I told you.
For the glory. Yes. Why does the glory matter?
If you want the wards to notice you, you have to fight in the Colosseum, or do boring things. But this is the real thing.
What
Yeah,
you were
fight-
doing in the Coliseum was pretty boring, dude.
And why is it important for the wards to notice you?
Because if you can get sponsorship from the wards, then they get you free food and free housing. And if you can attract the red ward, you get women.
And is that the end goal? Is that all you want? If you had all the food, free housing, free ladies you could ever desire, is that the end?
I mean, what else is there?
Well, there is glory and honor and acquitting oneself honorably for the betterment of the world.
Or
Look, I can do all of those things in the arena, okay? Just stop with your Legion pitch. It's
No, I feel the kid. I get it.
I get it too.
see,
I
the
just
bird,
have.
that is a bird, right? I know I got
Yes.
hit really hard.
I
That is
used
a
to,
bird.
you want a real mind bender? I used to be a dragonborn and a halfling, and then I am now a bird. So we're gonna have a lot of fun, you and me, kiddo.
You're a halfling?
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So
That- mm.
you want the glory, the free food, the sponsorship, everything that goes with it. That's the goal, yes?
Yeah.
Good.
And none of the responsibility, clearly.
Well, there is responsibility. There's going to be a lot of responsibility because he's not going to get those things. You're not going to get those things unless you do it properly, correct?
At this point, the door to the room swings open again, and you see this female dwarf wearing just heavy plate mail, just kind of walks in, tosses a pouch onto Karan's chest. It's like, Karan, Vidania says you're done. That was frankly shit. Keep trying, but sorry. Vidania says you're out. Walks out and closes the door.
Well,
You as the coins land on Karan, you can hear
Does he whimper?
some coins like clattering, and as it like slides off his chest onto the table, a little bit of copper, a bunch of copper and like a little bit of silver just kind of fall out.
well, it looks to me like you've not been entirely honest.
She's just kidding. I mean, it's joke. Gertis has a weird sense of humor.
Mm.
What you really want is to join the Greenspines, be a Jaeger.
I mean, that's what I'm going to do.
It is what you're going to do, but you're going to have to put the work in, yeah?
I think what's important to say is that you mentioned a lot of things like free money and free sponsorship and free food and free women. Not a damn thing in this life is free. You earn every single thing. You earn free food by getting and working hard. You earn that free food by getting your ass beat. Frankly, somehow you earned that money right there. But you're going to have to earn it. You got to work harder. Whatever reason you think that you're going to have something free, none of this is free. You're going to have to work harder, and this isn't going to cut it. You almost died in there, kid.
That's what I'm doing. I'm earning it, okay?
And you're going to earn it smart, and we're going to help you do it. Do you want to learn to be a better fighter? Do you want to go in there and get everything that you want?
So at this point, I would like Vera to give me a persuasion check with advantage. And Goose, you can give me persuasion or intimidation with your intelligence modifier, which is better than your charisma modifier.
That's saying something.
It's 3 better than my charisma modifier. So it's just gonna be. Hold on. It's just +4. Yeah. Hold on. Modifier 4.
Could be worse.
Rolling garbage today.
I'm sorry, Nick. Oh, gosh.
It's fine.
This is a good tag
Okay,
team
you're
persuasion. This is awesome.
This would be,
All
frankly,
the
it
web-
makes sense. This would be a hard person to listen to while you're bleeding on the table. So
True.
No, we're backing each other up. This is awesome.
Apparently not as hard as the army recruiter though, because apparently I don't get to roll. So
Oh,
No, he's really not interested in the Legion.
sorry.
Okay, I'm a
Jenny.
bird. He really has no idea what the hell to do with me. So, like, that's just how it goes.
Okay. So you're gonna teach me now?
We should totally teach him, guys.
Yeah. Do you want to be taught? Because I
Yeah.
can't teach anyone. We can't teach anyone who doesn't want to learn anything.
I mean, yeah, Vidanya's, she's a jerk anyway. The Greenspines, so they're not one of the great parties. You guys though, right? Well, I mean, who are you guys?
We're Happy Squad.
I
Are
don't
we?
know if we are in the third legion of the Vreem army.
We're loosely affiliated, actually, come to think of it. I just look around
And
at
wasting
everybody.
our time.
You're not one of the.
Oh, we're not a Jaeger
No.
party.
We just got here.
We're your fairy godmothers, Karan.
Okay, well, I'm a Jaeger.
He's a
You
Jaeger.
are. Guth is the coolest of all of us. He's actually
It is
Jaeger.
true.
All right. When do we start?
Well, let's get you patched up. And where are you staying? Where do you live?
I have earned a room in Myrna's ward. Vera, what's your passive perception?
19.
I'm sorry, passive insight, which I guess is the same, right?
Yeah.
No, it's 16 because I'm not
You
doubly
have
proficient.
expertise.
You don't have expertise in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 16.
Yeah. He blusters his way through Myrna's ward, but there's definitely some shame there.
You live in Myrna's ward.
Now
Yeah,
I know the city, Josh. How likely is it that he could actually be living in Myrna's ward?
No, it's certainly possible. Myrna's
Okay.
ward is just actually it's probably the most likely. Myrna's ward is the least specialized and like
Okay.
least it is the least sought after patron in
Gotcha.
the city.
Okay.
All right then. Well,
Yeah, I'm at the Twin Sandals. It's
Well-
I mean it's great. It's a really good place.
Great, we'll pick you up.
Sounds better than just one sandal.
well,
Oh,
here's
good
step 1 to your training. You've got to learn to be beaten to within an inch of your life and to stand up under your own power and walk out of here and walk home.
You got it. And he kind of rolls off the table and just plummets to the floor.
I love him.
I
He's gonna
sigh
take a
very
piece-
exaggeratedly and pick him up.
He's
He's on
gonna
his
take
feet.
he's gonna take a D6 of damage.
Oh dear. If it's
Yes,
more than a
I-
5, he's out. Or if it's more than a 4, he's out.
All right. He
he
rolls
out?
off the table, slams to the floor, and goes and just
Well done.
slowly picks himself up,
Let him do it himself.
goes over, gathers his equipment, just kind of like throws stuff over his shoulder. His sword and scabbard are just dragging behind him, and he slowly lurches out of the room.
Karan, we will see you in the morning. Training begins at dawn.
So are we going to him or do you want him to come to us?
I'm going to go to him. I'm rather curious. Now that suddenly I have the rule of the city, I can go wherever I like. I rather like this. So, is he gone? Has he walked out?
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't know how far he's gotten at this point, but he's out of the room.
Well, I'm
All right.
also just like 5 paces behind him because he's my responsibility at this point. That's what I told the guard, right?
I think you said just we
No, no,
are.
no. Yeah, these guys are
These
still
guys,
your
okay.
responsibility.
Okay.
All right. I would like to go and speak with the Scarlet Flame. Let them know we've spoken with the young man, and we are going to continue to speak with the young man.
You run into them kind of on your way out of the Colosseum. You guys you pass Karan. He's slowly kind of going, and you guys just kind of file past him in the hallway.
I shoulder into the floor.
Oh no! Don't let him take more damage. He's got like 2 hit points.
He goes right down, and he gets kind of this just stubborn look in his face, and he slowly manages to get himself back up again, and he continues slowly lurching his way out of there.
So do we pass the creepy guys?
Yeah, you run into them kind of in the green outside. They seem to be heading back in the direction of the Myth of Honor. But yeah, you guys can.
Can I catch the eye of the guy I spoke to before?
Yeah. You guys kind of run up behind him, and as again, when you guys are about 50 feet away, the 2 or 3 in the back kind of all whip around to look straight at you guys. Some kind of hand signal is exchanged, and the same guy that you were talking about before kind of walks back to the back of the party and just stands there waiting for you guys.
I walk up to him, or we walk up to him. Well, we've met Karan.
Yeah, I'm right next to you.
We've met Karan, and he knows how to get up, and that's always a good first step. We'll speak to him again in the morning. And he'll be a better fighter for it, hopefully.
It's going to take more than words.
Yes.
Speaking does not teach sense.
Yes, we're going to train him in the morning.
Train him here. Worthless. He must go outside.
Well, he already has a history of running before he can walk. You want us to take him with us?
Hobble him then. Prevent him from outrunning his grasp.
I'm sorry, I can't understand.
That's all right.
Sorry.
He said is prevent him from outrunning his grasp.
Okay. Who's the his? His own? Is this a reflexive pronoun?
Yeah, his own.
Okay. Okay. Very well. When can we arrange that message?
You will take him with you until he has learned sense.
That might be a while.
I turn to the group and I say, are you willing to
No.
bring Junior along?
No.
But Goose, think how much you can teach
No.
him. Think how much you can push him around.
I can't. He'll just keep getting hit. I was in the stands when I said it's sad to watch. Those are the people that got left behind. They are the ones that are worthless. He's weak, so he's not worth the time. He's stubborn and prideful, so not worth the time.
And from stubbornness and pride, things can come, Guth. So,
What's going to come
we
of
will
him?
not leave him behind. No.
You told me he wasn't even good enough for the Legion.
No. He's an idiot. But we will not leave him anywhere.
The thing is, there's no reason to take him anywhere. They said to talk sense. What they want to get what we need from them is to tell him he's no good and shouldn't fight. That's what
I
they
punched
want
him
from
in the
us.
face.
I believe I might be misreading just because I'm having a hard time hearing everything, but they don't want him to stop fighting. They want him to be a better fighter, I thought.
They said to hobble him, make him go outside. They said that they don't want him fighting.
But I thought in the first conversation we had,
No.
I said, "Oh, you want him to stop fighting?" And they're like, "No."
The agreement was to teach him sense basically in combat. When
Okay,
he-
yeah,
when he
because they don't
said-
want him to stop.
Yeah, when he said outside, he meant the wilderness, outside this safe place.
Mhm.
So I mean that's the deal that the Scarlet Flame are offering you. You've got other options.
Mm-hmm.
I like the idea of teaching a child.
Well,
Like Daphne thought he was just a pain in the butt until Guth made the big remark about him being worthless and having to be left behind, and now she's totally on board with teaching him.
As long as Almanya gets to sit with a parasol and a drink because she's got to be on bed rest for a while, like, I'm good. I'll just like yell out advice. Be like, your
God,
stance
scorching
sucks.
ray.
Move your foot to the right.
well, I will not. I will say no unless we are all in agreement.
I want to. I think he could use some help.
There should be no dissension, especially having someone in our ranks.
No.
Come on, Gooth. I need help.
With what?
I have
How
to
is
go.
he going to hell?
I gotta go to Callista and repay my debt. And if we all die doing that, then like it'll really have sucked.
So running around in the wilderness with some weak link who's going to get us killed because we have to protect him
So we
is
won't
going to be
take
better
it.
for us?
I mean, do you have any other options if we have at least one more person?
Talk to
We're-
literally any other person.
I need to speak to my sons. I need to know my sons are alive. I need to know my grandchildren are alive. This is the option that has been presented to us.
It's
Almanya
one
needs
of
to know
them.
her brother is all right.
It's
I
one
need to
of
know
them.
that Talia made it. I need to know that Talia's family is safe. I am
Are
Get
there
willing to
another
take
option.
this child.
Aren't there other people who can help us, Mom? Like,
I thought,
There's
looking at the
probably
list, that
someone at university who would know this stuff, but whether they
There's-
would help or not, I don't
there's
know.
got to be some fancy schmancy ass wizards around here who can help.
I know,
I'm a
but
Jaeger now. We can find another option.
the problem is
Not this one.
there are people who can, but they won't. That is everyone we've spoken to. That's everyone. What everyone has said is
Well, we go to-
that
Is there a bard college around here?
I think there's the
There's the
university.
academy.
I don't think. Yeah.
Bards know how to do that sort of
He
stuff.
also told you that the scalebound. would
Yeah,
be
I
as
was
well.
because the one got eliminated. So
Look.
not the X. And not
Bards
the
can,
circle of
can use that
thorns.
kind of magic, and I'm a bard, and I'm trained and fully graduated from a bard college. Maybe we can go to the bard college that's local here and see if somebody will help us. I can give
Not
them
him.
my fancy shell. I don't know. We're all bards. We're all arrogant and want to look really pretty. We're all vain as hell. Like,
Do they have bards here?
Observing the conversation, the Scarlet Flame just turn and walk away.
Oh, is that my mic?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I don't know.
Okay, what time of day is it?
At this point, let's see. You guys basically just got up and went straight to the Myth of Honor, so it's still pre-noon.
Okay.
We have plenty of time. You don't have to be back for curfew now.
Oh,
We
that's
can
true.
take you anywhere you want in the city, yeah?
You guys are allowed to stay out of the Mars ward after dark now.
That's true. Well, I suppose we must go back in and find the Scalebound then. And I'll turn around and walk back into the Coliseum and start asking around for them.
We'll call it just about an hour or two, and eventually you're directed to the Scalebound, kind of their training area beneath the Coliseum. And as you kind of open the room, this is not just a room to store equipment and lay bodies. This one appears to be kind of habitable. It's large enough that it actually sections off into several smaller rooms. But as you guys kind of knock and open the door, it is a room full of Dragonborn. All of them wearing accoutrement, Almanya, that you recognize from pictures and illustrations that your little sister loves to read.
Yeah.
Oh,
Older
nope.
sister, actually. Older
I
sister.
turn right around and walk out.
Nope, we're done. We're going somewhere else.
Elder's actually older than Almanya. Almanya is the third of her siblings.
I'm so sorry. Your older sister loves to.
Yeah. I'm like, oh,
yeah. Give me a straight. Give me a history check.
me?
Yeah, we'll just call it history.
Okay.
That was a
14.
trip.
14. They are not blood priests.
Okay. Are they
At least they are not full and initiated priests. But you definitely see a couple of them wearing like leather watertight pouches that are probably filled with blood.
huh.
You want something? This tall, well-muscled green is standing there in the doorway.
Probably
Walked
not.
out.
No. Think I'm
I'm not
good.
approaching these people.
No.
Sorry.
Apologies. We seem to have entered the wrong room. As you were, have a very nice day. Goodbye.
Just like the Legion to waste time. Shuts the door in you guys' face.
Almanya lets out a very long breath. Like, okay. Like,
just
have to like take a moment, like hands like this, like, okay.
Those of you,
Okay.
the previous party was killed and butchered by blood priests from the hegemony. So, just to give you some context for this reaction.
But as Daphne knows none of that, she'll just say to the closing door, well, there's no need to be rude.
I'm just sitting right outside the door with my back to the wall, and I'll just say, all right, we didn't know that they were blood practitioners. Do we still want to ask them our question?
No, we do not. No, we definitely do not. Take it from me, the one who was a dragonborn. We do not want to talk to blood priests. Whoo. No.
to
We're
agree
just
with you.
using them for the spell. That's all we're doing.
But do you remember when I came back to life as a bird and a giant dragonborn came smashing into the ground and started screaming things that I couldn't hear, but man, like it was pretty okay. The dragonborn don't like me because I was a dragonborn, and I think they're really pissy about that. So let's not talk to them. Let's just not.
Okay.
Josh, would I know anything about these people as a wanderer first and then a legionnaire?
What do you mean by? Okay, I don't mean this in a funny way. What do you mean by these people?
Not the party, obviously. The
No, I know you. I know
cult-
you're referencing. I know you're
Yeah.
referencing the Dragonborn, but like, are you asking
Like-
about Dragonborn, the hegemony, blood priests? What do you
I'm
asking?
asking specifically about whatever seems to have Almanya's knickers in a twist, which would be, I guess, the blood priests.
I'll give you an insight check if you to see if you can kind of figure out what it is about them that has Almanya so upset.
Okay.
Or were you asking more like a history thing? Like, do you know anything about them already?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wanting to know is if I know anything about them, like if I would have any inherent distrust of them.
I'm gonna, with a 14, I'm gonna leave this up to Almanya. And just for context, Almanya, I believe a 15 would be considered a
Average.
medium difficulty achievement. Yeah, a moderate difficulty. So is there anything about them that it is just kind of easy to tell what it is that's bugging Almanya, or is there just too much complexity going on here?
I don't think there's anything like specific that you'd be able to tell. It's just there's something about them kind of like appearing in front of her that like really freaks her out.
So Liliana, sorry, Daphne, yeah, you're not quite sure what it is about the Scalebound that really bugs her. You know that she was a Dragonborn, Almanya, that is.
Yeah.
And that, and you know about the hegemony.
Okay.
She also just said all of that stuff to Guth.
I'm sorry?
She also just said all that stuff to Guth.
Yeah, no.
So.
Yeah, what I'm interested in is like how, like what I know about the hierarchy of the hegemony or, you know, any of those sorts of things to know how I as a Vreeman would react.
You as a Freeman, if they're here, it's because they have papers, it's because they've been accepted into the Empire, and it's because either they are being very closely watched or are not considered a threat.
Okay, that's probably fine.
Yeah, there's nothing about this that goes, oh my God, they shouldn't be here. Like, we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
I guess
If they're here, it's because they have been thoroughly cataloged and measures have been taken.
But
Cool.
would Daphne know anything about? I mean, Vreem is at war with Worcestershire, which is under the control of the Blood Priests.
We were at war with the hegemony.
So at the moment, Worcestershire, for all intents and purposes, no longer exists.
Yeah. But I mean, the Vreemans know about the Blood Priests, and they know that's the ones they're fighting. Right?
You guys, I think you guys spoke to the Vreemans kind of about the fall of Worcestershire. They're well aware of the nature of its fall, and kind of the Mishan Sora and her blood priests, their role in it.
So, is this an example of those types of the Blood Priests here would have enemy on their passport?
Presumably.
Yeah, but it means that
Yeah, you guys were asked very careful questions about your contact with blood magic and the red harvest disease and things like that. So it's definitely on the Vreeman's radar.
Okay,
Yeah.
but they're still letting him into the city and such.
Apparently,
That's interesting.
Was there any non-dragonborn person in the room with them, or was it just entirely a party of dragonborn?
From what you saw, it was just Dragonborn.
Interesting. Cool.
Well, our next option, I suppose, is the academy to find someone who might have this power. The only problem is I don't know if they'd be willing to bargain for it.
Well, we could just go back to the Myth of Honor and say that we need to send a message now. Because now I'm a Jaeger and maybe they'll let us know. And if there's nothing there, then they can tell us where.
Well, I thought though that the man I spoke to, the proctor, he indicated that the Scalebound and the Scarlet Flame are the only Jaegers who would be able to cast that spell.
For non-Jaegers.
I can't remember how I said it. Was the question that I asked? I can never remember his name. Galawian.
So those were the first two off the top of his head.
Off the top of his head.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay,
Sure.
let's go back.
Can we just go back to the Myth of Honor and just ask the front desk or whatever, like what resources are now available that we've joined the club?
Well, he said, right? You can do maps, you can do items.
Joined the club. You have now identified yourself as a Jaeger. You are not a member of the Myth of Honor at the moment.
Oh.
Which is fair, because Guth probably wouldn't have understood that either.
Yeah, Guth said he signed as little paperwork as possible to leave.
Yeah.
Right.
So the academy. I don't want to belabor the perks that Guth wasn't listening to. So notice how I said Guth in a very strained way.
Lower entry price, access to items for rent, hire mercenaries, participate in Yag Horizon, purchase maps. That's pretty much it.
Yep. Nothing about free sending spells.
Sad. I wish.
Well, we can hire a party now. Now we can hire a party. We can literally pay the money, use one of your daily spells. If it's that important to you, Vera, you have you have the ability to do that.
I don't have any money left.
Ah,
That's part of the
Those
issue.
you-
I can't
you
pay
can go
for
earn you some money.
anything. Okay, let's try the academy then.
Very well. It is quite close to the Colosseum, yeah? So it's not far.
It is. It is in fact within sight of where you guys are as you stand kind of in the grass outside the Colosseum. You can still see those massive black pillars rising up that kind of surround the academy. So yeah, if you guys want to head in that direction.
Yes.
Ow. All right, the academy. There we go.
I hope there's another cool secretary.
So you guys head to the academy. You end up getting there pretty quickly. And again, right, these massive black stone pillars that rise up, carved with runes, kind of all the way up its height, or up their height, and then kind of enclose this. There are a number of buildings set kind of in between them. All of them, as you walk closer, kind of triangular in shape, with kind of the point, the apex of the triangle pointed towards the center of this whole area. Where's my map? And then there are a number of buildings kind of scattered in a ring, and then one very large building at the very center. Daphne, you would know. You guys are looking for message.
No, we're looking
although
for
you're also-
sending. Message is a cantrip.
Yeah. What is it?
Sending.
We're looking for sending. Message is a cantrip.
So Daphne, give me an Arcana check.
Oh, I'm so smart. I'm so good at those. Okay.
I'm so smart.
Yeah. 16?
Cool. You know that you are looking for evocation,
Okay.
which
Oh, that's
means
cool,
you're
because that's the same kind of Hexen Vonser Hexen stuff that I do. So that's good.
I did not understand what you said, but Yeah, Daphne, you lead them to one of these buildings. Got it. Okay.
It's weird. So I
Um,
never thought that you could use magic like calling lightning from the air to send a message. That is weird.
Yeah, it occurs to you that this message is a sort of evocation. You lead them kind of into one of these buildings, and as you guys walk through, I guess the campus, you see a very large number of young humans, half orcs, the occasional half elf, a tiefling here and there, etc. Kind of walking around wearing, most of them wearing what looks very similar to a Legion, kind of the Legion casual wear, but with no medal, no insignia of rank, nothing like that at all. And then a smaller number of people in just civilian tunics walking around. And Daphne leads you into one of these buildings here. And eventually you guys are directed to the office of Alfser Alendra Mercis.
Put that in the chat. 'Cause-
Yeah, we couldn't understand you.
Don't worry, it's our fault.
Yeah,
Totally
we
your
hired
fault.
the gremlins.
Has nothing
They
to do with
Alendra
my.
Marcus.
Not even close to what I thought I heard.
Same.
That's
Oh,
just funny.
no.
I'm sorry, I didn't give you her title. So her
Please.
title is Alfser.
Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense. I was like, not even close.
Alfser Alendra Mercis. So you guys eventually kind of make it to our office, open it up, and you see the most carefully organized, categorized, and labeled office you've ever seen.
Oh my God, more paper boys.
Talia would be like
Paper lady, I think.
But this is Jenny.
Talia would be really happy had she not returned to Anashur.
Yeah. But this is Daphne, so all she wants to know is this lady cute or no?
I know the answer for Booth.
Just like, what if she lets down her hair, takes off the glasses, has one of those, kicks her feet up after a hard day at work, The girl you don't notice in science class who then shows up to prom and like, wow, where did you come from? One of those.
Cool. Goose does not find her attractive in the least. I don't know, Daphne, what's your type?
I don't know. Describe her and then I'll tell you.
Okay. Kind of broad features, a little bit thick boned, but with kind of this high kind of arched nose, these thick brows that kind of come back a little bit, but very neatly trimmed, and just kind of a severe expression on her face. And as you kind of as you open the door, she looks up from incredibly neat and even writing that she has been inscribing on the scroll in front of her.
Okay, she's scary. She's not my type.
Cool. Okay, not your type.
She's just a
You
little
said
bit of a
you-
Hanya type. A little bit.
You said not Goof's type and started off with broad-shouldered. I just want to say it was just like...
It's a broad
Broad featured, right? Kind
Oh,
of
gotcha.
the features on her face.
You said something about her shoulders, for sure, right?
She said she was big
I
bone.
said
Big
I said
bone.
nothing about her shoulders.
You said big
Did
bone.
not say a word. Yeah, thick bone.
Oh, Goof's type.
She's thick
Um,
though.
She looks up at you, and looks like she's about to speak, and then goes, "Oh, you're not my students. Yes?
No, we are not your students. My name is Melchper Daphne Greenspan from the 3rd Legion. I serve the Tribune of the Diadem. And these are some guests who were looking for a certain type of magic, and we wondered if you might help them out.
If you're looking for party tricks or fun, then this is not.
I don't think that's what they're after. I
Oh,
think they want to talk to someone far away.
Goose
Excellent.
visibly deflates.
Oh,
we'll find some super fun magic at some point, bud.
party for
Excellent.
Goose.
What do you need?
Mrs. Mayweather?
We would like to send a message to our families in Onisher and hopefully receive information back.
All right, who is your sponsor?
We are unsponsored as yet.
Meldspear. You brought
Yeah.
me unsponsored. All right.
Well,
As soon as you can acquire a sponsor that can pay at least 200 gold, I will send you a message for you. Until
need
you
a-
have acquired. I'm sorry?
Do we need a sponsor to pay the 200 gold, or if we have 200 gold on our persons, would you take that?
no, it's not the way it works, yeah.
You have 200 gold on your person?
No?
Oh. Then get a sponsor who can spot you the 200 gold, and I will send you a message.
Why are there so many levels of bureaucracy in this goddamn city?
But if
Holy
we
fuck.
wait a moment. But if we did have 200 gold upon our persons, would we require the sponsor?
Yes, I'm sorry. No, if by some chance people such as yourselves had 200 gold, then that would suffice.
I have 341 gold. Fuck you.
I've got 50.
Perfect. Excellent. And what message would you like to send?
Wait a minute. So, just to clarify, this message, will we be able to receive one back?
Yes, I would relate to you whatever your intended recipient responds with.
Well, Almanya, it's between you and me.
Well, I'm sorry to chime in here, Mrs. Mayweather, but I could spot you a little bit, not much, but it's all I have.
No, I won't ask you to do that.
No, it would be an honor.
No, please. Well, it seems like,
So that you could each you and Almanya could send a message, yeah?
but it sounds like between the two of us we have enough, right? I've got 50. I got 58.
You guys
how
are
much you got,
one.
Almanya?
I have
guys are-
341.
You
So
guys
we're
are
literally-
one short.
We're
one
one
gold.
short. Hang on, I have some silver.
I also have
I have-
21 silver, so
I have 28 silver. Does that eventually equal a gold? I don't know how this works.
10
10
silver
Just
gold.
piling pennies on her desk, just
That's
like
exactly what we're doing.
exact
I think-
change.
there goes
We
my
have-
instrument that I want to buy, but okay. This is all
But-
I got.
It's up to you, though. If you
Take out your purses and just like start emptying it on her desk. Her perfectly and meticulously
Yes.
organized
No,
desk.
I
love
Almanya
it.
is so
asking
fed
the
up
gold
with
bill
the
for them because I know how fussy the Tribune is about this.
Almanya is so
Alright.
fed up by all of the bureaucracy that she takes one look at this beautiful handwriting and just drops gold pieces all over it. Like, Okay.
Are you dropping?
There we go.
Are you dropping the full 341?
Yes, and 10 pieces of silver.
All right. You
Five,
are
five
currently
silver. I'll
carrying-
dump in another 5.
You are carrying 11 pieces of silver and 36 copper now, Almanya.
Yep, there goes my instrument.
Sorry,
So that
we'll
was
make enough.
That was 342 total from Almanya. So yeah, Vera, if you give the remaining
I've got
58.
Wait.
I've got 58 gold. Yep.
Okay. All right.
Okay, that was hilarious that we had exact change, guys. That was so funny.
That's amazing.
We had exactly 399 gold pieces.
Oh my gosh.
All right. That will get you 2 messages.
Bullshit.
I will need you to tell me a great deal about your intended recipient. So, who is first?
Oh, you can go first. I
Oh, dang.
need to figure out what I'm going to say.
I have to figure out what I'm going to say after all this
Does
elaborate.
sending have
I know.
a word limit?
25 words.
Okay.
Oh God. Hang on. I might have to think about this. Sorry, y'all. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'm sure Guth can find some trouble to get up to, and Daphne has some things she wants to do.
Oh, yeah, I had something. Daphne goes first, though.
Yeah, no, I just was going to intercept the gold as Almanya throws it into the middle of this person's immaculate desk, because I know how Freya is about everything having in place and being all neatly organized and meticulous. So I'll just start like stacking it neatly.
Hard to intercept because she just dumped 351 coins on the table. But yeah, you can start like gathering it over. I'm so sorry. I'm just gonna.
Yeah,
and
I apologize.
You can start stacking it.
Yeah.
Guth?
I'm going to stand there about 3 paces away from the table. Just kind of like hands on my hips. And I'm just kind of going to look at her and be like, so you ride a lot?
I am proficient in horse riding, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, you look good. You look good at riding. Yeah. You ride a lot?
As I said, I am proficient. It is not my preferred activity.
Okay, but like you do it a lot though.
As I said, I've been trained to the degree required, and I do it when I must.
That's cool. That's cool.
Is this going somewhere? Did you have a message you wanted to send as well?
And he just kind of like shrugs his shoulders and just kind of like slowly turns away.
Fascinating. Are you ready?
Yes. I got
All right.
exactly 25.
All right. Let me go ahead and create a new note here real quick. Okay, Vera.
I'm going to describe Junior to her in detail.
Oh, that's right. You got to describe. All right. Good. Halfling, male, name, excellent. That is his real name?
Sorry, Gideon Mayweather Jr. or Gideon Mayweather II. Junior is less pretentious.
All right. Describe him for me, please.
About well, exactly. I measured him. He's 3'1", dark skinned, black curly hair, dark eyes, wide nose, wide mouth, square chin, deep voice for a halfling, sort of unexpected. wears a ring on the pinky with a crest. And I will show her the tattoo behind my ear. He'll have this behind his left ear, the same crest on the ring.
Excellent. That should do. And Vera,
He
what is
does
your
look
message?
he does look an awful lot like my other sons. But Junior will be the one with the ring.
Good clarification.
All
The other
right.
boys don't
All
wear
my
it.
sons look the same.
Dude, they all look like Gideon.
Go ahead and give me your message.
Junior, it's Ma. I'm well in Vreem.
So
Mhm.
contractions count as 2 words.
Oh, come on. Then I'm just going to start with it's Ma.
Okay.
In Vreem on family business. How is, I guess, the family and the family. Has Talia Rusandal contacted you? And I had 3 freaking words left.
You
And
have 6 words left.
I have 6?
Yeah, it's. I'm sorry.
It
So,
is.
1 second.
Ma.
You have 5 words left. So it is Ma in Vreem on family business. How is the family and the family? Has Talia Rusendal contacted you?
Mhm.
You got 5 words.
Yep. I can't say what I actually want to say, so I'm just going to say, I miss you all.
It is Ma in Vreem on family business. How's the family and the family? Has Talia Rusendal contacted you? I miss you all. Okay.
Don't you have like family code you could say something in to let them know that it's you?
I mean,
I'm real quick.
I do have thieves can't, but I can't say it to, I mean, because it's really going to be her saying it.
Message to.
Well, I thought you had like a family, like a secret family thing.
Yeah, that is her thieves' can't.
I think that is, yeah, that's the can't that I have.
Okay, but I didn't know if it was like family specific, so you could put like a
I think it
specific
is.
tagline at the end of it. You know?
Yeah, in fact, that's an interesting point. I think the can't that I have, as in for my on my character sheet, is a can't specific to my family.
It is.
So I'm going to say the word that I use for Ma is essentially the call sign for me from that can't.
Okay. So you'll end it with the essentially the code word that proves that this is from you.
Or I began it with that, as in it's
began
X. It's
Oh, I see.
the code name.
So in that case, you would have 3 more words if you want.
I miss you all and wish you well.
Okay. I miss you
And
all
wish well.
and wish well. Okay. I need to reconcile my calendars real quick.
Oh
So,
God.
sorry.
What's
I have
happened
a
to my
calendar.
boy?
I have a calendar for everything happening in Onashur, and then I've been keeping track of kind of where you guys are on the calendar. So I just need to reconcile some.
And Josh, she hasn't, like, we haven't finished where Talia is at the moment yet either. So
Correct.
she did, yeah.
Josh, what have you done to my boys?
I'm looking at calendars, okay?
Hey, he
where is
murdered my whole family, so. Well, we don't, yeah.
I was about to say,
Yeah.
is that confirmed
Okay.
yet?
No. When we left Talia, she was standing on the dock.
Oh God.
Here we go. All right. Today is the 10th of trade. Cool.
Contacting Vera's family was definitely on Talia's list.
Okay. Good. Almanya, what is your message?
I want to send it to my little brother Endon.
Okay.
And it says, "It's me, Almanya.
Okay.
I'm in Vreem.
Okay.
Tell the family that I'm safe.
Okay. You got 11 words.
Trying to save the world for you.
Okay.
Stay
4
safe.
words.
Love you."
Okay.
Man, you can say it.
It's the 10th. Okay. Vera.
My heart is racing right now.
I'm so sorry. I'm not deliberately keeping you in suspense right now. I literally am.
No, I'm just
And I'm
just
trying to
finding
figure
this
out-
really funny how emotional I am about this. Okay.
Okay. Ma, in Vreem on family business, how is the family and the family? I assume one of those is lowercase and one uppercase.
Exactly. And the one, there's no way to say this, but the one I said in Vreem was on family business was a capital F.
I figured. Has Talia Rusendal contacted you? I miss you all and wish well. I need Jenny. I need you to really quick respond to this text.
Oh God.
Guth is just like kicking himself. Like, do you write a lot? That's the dumbest thing you could have said. Wow.
Oh,
Again,
was really cute.
I will reiterate, simply because the party is not present does not mean events stop or slow down and wait for you.
we know. That's why my heart is racing.
Okay.
Especially if
second
you're not there.
There's the second part?
Yep. In the same day, if possible.
Okay.
Oh God, Junior could be dead. Message couldn't send. Message not received.
Now I have to figure out where Talia is. You left. There it is. Took you only a few days. Got it. Okay. All right. Here we go. I need to make sure he keeps within the word limit. Family fine. This is for you, Vera.
Oh gosh, I'm writing this down word for word.
Family fine. Theodosia gone.
Oh God.
Family barely whole.
Okay.
Miss you all. Wish well. No contact from Talia.
It's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah, but did you even get there?
How many words does he have?
Not to say it gets worse, but you know.
14 more words. Rules run streets at
Oh,
night.
God.
harvest rampant. Contacts missing. 5 words. I love you too.
I'm gonna cry. Vera cries. Not a lot, but there's just that she's getting watery eyed, which I don't think y'all have seen that much before, but yeah.
The elf there relates that to you and immediately starts taking notes.
Okay.
She finishes up a small, maybe 3 or 4 sentence paragraph and turns to Almanya. You relate your message. Where did I write yours? It is me, Almanya. I am in Vreem. Tell the family I'm safe. Trying to save the world for you. Stay
safe. Love you.
safe. Okay.
Grace, your mic is clicking a little bit.
The response you get back is am safe now.
Hold on. I'm safe now. Okay.
I love so much that like this is one of the most intense moments we've had in a few episodes.
Yeah, man.
I love you all. Am safe now. Endon's pretty smart.
Yeah, he's a freaking like nerd. He's very smart.
He's a nerd, so he's also going to be pretty efficient with his words.
Good.
Am safe
Oh,
now.
love my little bro.
You think he might have this spell yet? It's a wizard spell.
Endon, he might. He's a brilliant little kid. He might actually have this spell.
Embassy protecting. Thought you dead. Glad wrong. Taking me in your place.
That's only 15. What else?
Yeah, that's only 15. He's got 10 more.
Yeah, he's got a lot of words. I need to know what the hell that means that they're taking him in my place. We were going to our trials together. It's not like they've replaced me with him.
How was your day?
He is younger than you, so he would have gone to trials a few years later.
But I thought we were in the same clutch.
As Endon?
Yeah, all 4 of us were the same clutch.
Gotcha. Okay.
He just hatched last. Like,
gotcha. So yeah, he would have been taken later than you.
oh god. Oh fuck.
Safe for now. Hurry back. Sorry, Almanya, can you remind me your sister's name real quick?
Oh, Talsha.
Talsha. Talsha still nutty.
Oh my gosh.
I love him. Oh no. That was like
Josh?
Almanya, like her mood just like dropped, and then hearing that, like it's going back up again. Like, okay, everything's okay then. Because if he
It's
can
still-
joke about that, my nerdy like
Still,
hyper fixating little brother can just still be like jabbing at our older sister, then okay.
Josh, what have you done to my granddaughter?
everything that you could have stopped had you remained.
Oh God. Here's what I'm gonna do. Is there an ink bottle on this lady's desk?
There an ink bottle. Oh yeah. There is an ink bottle and a backup ink bottle.
Is one of them open?
Yes, the one that she is taking notes with. She is definitely mining information from these messages.
Undoubtedly. Okay, here's the question. Can I do this without breaking an oath? Yeah.
Sorry, that face was for Jenny because she's threatening me.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. I'm going to be because I actually am emotional, I'm going to be dabbing at my eyes and sort of blindly, reaching forward, and I will knock that ink bottle over by accident
On her notes.
on her notes.
You will knock it over by accident. Give me a sleight of hand.
Yeah, let's just hope all of my powers don't get sucked away from me by doing this. Sleight of hand?
Oh God, it's the vapors. Can I get her advantage? I would have tried. I don't.
Distract her.
I have
You know
good
what?
insight. I have really good insight, so I can
You know what?
see.
Guth, give me a what is your passive insight?
Gonna be 4 probably. Well, hold on. Oh damn it! It's just 13. Yeah.
So her passive perception is 11. So Vera. So the way this basically works is Vera, you need to roll higher than her passive perception, but below Guth's passive perception.
Or equal to.
Insight. What is it?
Or equal to, right?
Or equal to Guth's passive insight, and if so, then Guth can try and give you advantage. So give me the first roll.
Wait, am I rolling sleight of hand still? I'm confused.
Yes, roll sleight of hand.
Roll a 12 or a
Roll a
13.
12 or a 13.
Okay.
If you've already rolled over it, though, it doesn't really matter. But, still.
Lots.
Cool.
That's good
Guth,
enough.
You don't notice this at all. And Vera, you reach out to kind of steady yourself on the desk, and that ink bottle just kind of pours across the papers on her desk. And she kind of jerks her hands back and goes,
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Wait, so
I'm like, crying.
No, it's okay. And she's just like taking different papers and kind of guiding away from important things and just trying to contain the situation real quick. And then she kind of pauses and goes and mutters a word, and all of the spilled ink just kind of vanishes.
Oh crap.
I was about to do prestidigitation and just like prestidigitate.
Yeah.
Can she discern the spill from the other ink, though?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Does the arcane ability give her the ability to discern all of the ink?
Oh, you're talking about like,
fresh
the ink
ink.
that spilled versus the ink that she wrote?
From
Because
fresh
she
ink.
just wrote it.
I'm going to roll a percentile die to see roughly how much of the notes remained.
Excellent. Roll low or high. I don't understand percentile dice.
93% of what she wrote remains, and she she clears up the ink and then just kind of fills in the parts from memory of what she had written down.
Fine.
It's all right. No damage has been done.
So sorry.
That's all right. That sounded emotional. Is there anything else?
Oh, Josh, quick question. What day is today?
Today is the 10th of trade month.
10th of trade month?
Correct.
How long has it been since we left Anashur? That's the question.
Well,
And how long until my trials? Or what would have been my trials?
you left Anashur on the 27th of Two Skies, which was 27 plus 24 is 51. It has been about 61 days since you left Anashur.
Okay. 2 months.
Yeah, just about. 2 months and a little.
So you know what I'm actually salty about is like I wrote the Theodosia disappearance into my backstory and then you didn't do it. And I was like, okay, that's just not going to do that. And now you've done it when I least expected it.
It's fine. I wrote in my backstory.
You gave me kind of the reason for you going out adventuring, and I planned for that to then happen. And then you left the city.
Yep.
And it happened.
Well, at least
How many days until what would have been my trials? What is now my siblings' trials?
Oh, your birthday is on the 8th of Devotion.
Yeah.
Which means you've got about 1, 2, just under 3 weeks.
Can I ask a quick, maybe I should roll insight for this, but I know my son very well. He's smart enough to have picked his words carefully.
Yeah.
So I did notice that he said she's gone.
Correct.
Does that have some significance, as in clearly not dead, because that's not what he would have said.
Did he say gone?
He said gone.
Okay.
Mind you, he said family fine and Theodosia gone, and those two things are oxymoronic.
Yeah. So, where is it? There we go. Theodosia gone. Yeah. So gone. Not necessarily. Right. Would have said missing if it was that pressing.
Right.
So it's unclear whether she is right gone somewhere else, or missing or whatever. It was not entirely clear.
Okay, because now I'm starting to worry, or Vera's starting to worry, because that's what Theodosia's like. Has she followed me? Oh gosh. Okay, thanks. Thanks for, oh God. Thanks for the update.
Oh my God, I just looked at the clock and it's 20 after 9. So we're going to go ahead and end right there.
Nick and I are tired.
Oh, you guys are so late. I'm
so
sorry.
sorry.
God, it's late for you guys.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and end there. I'm glad the internet held up at least enough to get through this.
Oh God.
Anyway. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope to see you again next Friday as it gets even worse. I think things have gone like pretty well or gotten a little bit better for the last couple of episodes. And then little did you know it's always getting worse somewhere. In the meantime, please join Becca and crew as they play 13th Age Monday evening at 6:30. We invite you to follow and subscribe to our Twitch and YouTube channels, or visit our website, iconicproduction.wordpress.com. And you can see you can follow us on social media or see other live play shows like this one. Or you can support us on Patreon. Thank you so much. Until next week. Who's missing next week? Almanya, you said you'd be here?
Yeah. I'm missing it.
Fantastic. We might have to do a one shot.
Hey guys, if we get to the next level, I can get sending and then we won't have to worry about this.
Yay!
Well, I think we could maybe just like go earn money, and she could just take a nap somewhere.
We'll see.
No, literally, we could do that.
I've got my brainstorming and writing like period tomorrow morning at the coffee shop. So we'll figure it out. Anyway, in one way or another, we'll be back next week. We hope you will join us again. In the meantime, we hope you stay happy, healthy, and safe. Have a good week.